Are you tired of the blind leading the blind? Are you ready to escape the 9-to-5 grind and build a life that truly makes you happy? Are you ready to build generational wealth for you and your family? If any of this sounds like you, then breathe easy, because you are exactly where you need to be right now. A wise man once said, "When the student is ready, the teacher shall appear." So have faith in what I said and follow the path. My name is Khadija LaShawn, and I am the Black guidance counselor that my community needs. I'm a strategic investor and CEO. I make money in my sleep, and I teach others how to do the same. I share my knowledge, talents, and resources with others. So if you're in need of that motivation or courage to start following your own path, look no further. My intention is to share as much value with you all as possible and to show you that there are many different paths to happiness and many different paths to wealth. You just have to find the one that's right for you. Not much. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Did you I'm sorry I took so long. Are you ready? You're ready to start, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, just so you know, I am on live too, but we're recording, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm just letting you know, okay? But they can't hear you. They can hear me.
Okay. What are you
Yeah.
like? YouTube, Spotify?
Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not showing myself. I'm just showing the screen. Basically, I've been going on live a lot lately because I just feel like what I'm doing, because I keep to myself a lot, and I feel like God has been telling me to share what I know and share like the things that I do to keep going at my goals so that people can get inspired,
Oh, that's really nice.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So, for the people who are listening for the first time, my name is Khadija LaShawn, also known as your Black guidance counselor, and this is the Black Creator Podcast. My goal with this podcast is to guide you to the resources that you need. So today, we are going to be talking about software engineering. We're going to talk about home ownership. We're going to talk about college, master degrees, and all that stuff with my best friend, Sid. So, Sid, are you ready?
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
Okay, cool. All right. So if you could describe yourself to anybody in the world, who are you?
That's a very general question.
Like, who are you to this world?
Oh, well, I guess I've been doing some thinking about this question. And when you ask me the question, who am I immediately think of like, why am I here,
Mm-hmm.
for example. And so when I think of why am I here, I think of like basically I am someone that wants to give to others. I'm someone who wants to leave the world better than I found it. And I want to leave every person better than I found them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that is a very like blanket statement, but I still try to do that.
No, I mean, I feel like you do.
Yeah, I mean, I still try to do that most of the time.
I mean, you be doing volunteer work, like nobody tells you to do that stuff. You just naturally like that's just in you,
Mm-hmm.
Like what are some things that you've done as a volunteer?
Okay. So I volunteered with a lot of robotics programs, and I currently mentor a high school student.
Oh yeah?
And so you get assigned to a high school student when they're in like 10th or 11th grade. No, you
Mm-hmm.
join them in their 10th grade year and you stay with them until they graduate and even beyond that. Um, and I do Girl Scouts, a Girl Scout troop leader.
Okay.
But yeah, I just really enjoy it. Like it's sometimes it might be like a day thing where they just need someone to help out with a program. And then
Mm-hmm.
certain programs are like long term where you stay with someone for like a year or even longer than that.
So tell me a little bit about like something like maybe a really good experience you had doing volunteering.
Um, I've had one really good experience was with Girl Scouts, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So like this past Christmas, we all built gingerbread houses. And they're right now the students are about to be in high school, so I think they're turning 14. So they're in this
Mm-hmm.
preteen age where like as soon as one person does something, the other ones they just want to do the opposite just because they each want to be individuals.
Okay.
But it's fun, but it's hard because like they all need to work as a team.
They do.
Yeah, but they also want to do their own thing. But one fun experience we had was we built the gingerbread houses, and because everyone wanted something different, we each got them like their own particular candies. We got them they each had their own design, and everyone's came out really really cute. And
Hmm.
it was really really uh it was nice
So
because it was individual, but it still looked good.
that's good. That's very good. You know, like that's definitely something I peeped that you've done. Like even back when you were at McDaniel, you was doing volunteer work. You was with the Boys and Girls Club teaching kids how to build robots or something like that. Like I don't know, I just think that's really cool that, even you saying that, I'm thinking back, like I'm like, yeah, you definitely do like do a lot of volunteer work and help other people out and teach people and mentor people. And I'm sure that you're making like a hell of an impact because just you being in the position that you are, being a software engineer as a Black woman, you know, there's far and few, who are at your level, if that makes sense. Like have gone as far as you've gone, even with school, you know?
No, yeah, I definitely see that. And one benefit that I see to volunteering is it always it helps you get outside of yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
it helps you get outside of like whatever negative thing or even a positive thing, like whatever you have going on. It's like you're not focusing on that. You're focusing on yourself. I mean, you're focusing on someone else,
Yeah.
and that's really positive. I even had one student that I have for Girl Scouts, and she reminds me of myself like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she's super smart. She's really talkative, but then she's also really difficult sometimes because she likes to get her ideas across. And if she don't feel like she's being heard, she'll make sure she's heard.
Aw.
So, so it's good. It's really cool though. And she wants to do biology.
Mm-hmm.
And just hearing her talk about what she's passionate about and how this is her dream, it made me think about my dreams too and made me
Yeah.
think like it made me think about myself like when I first came into engineering and I really wanted to do it and that was my thing and I wasn't going to let anybody change my mind, let them tell me anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was my thing. And it made me think now because now it's like I love what I do, but it's times where I think about stopping. It's times I think about quitting and just doing something else because people get on my nerves. But
Yeah.
listening to her, it was like, no, I'm gonna stick with this. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna change my mind
I
because
understand.
I still have that passion that I had when I was younger.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what it's about. It's the passion. Like it has to be there cuz even you, like I'm not going to lie, I didn't take you seriously in high school. I mean in college. Like and you know why? Cuz you're silly, you know? I just feel like you
Yeah,
are
I was
so
having fun. I
like you
was having
don't come
fun.
across that way sometimes. Like you just I don't know. I feel like the first okay, so I'm not trying to put you out there. Okay, I'm not trying to put you out there.
No, it's cool. It's fine.
Well, nobody knows your last name either, so you don't have to worry about anything. But because this conversation is between you and I, you know what I mean? Even though I'm sharing it, it's between you and I, because nobody
Okay.
knows that you're the person I'm talking to.
Okay.
You got me? So I,
Yeah.
I want to be like open with this conversation if that's okay with you.
Okay.
So I was just gonna say, I mean, if I say anything that you feel like you're not comfortable like talking about, tell me, okay? Because
Okay.
I don't wanna cross any lines or anything. I just was gonna say that when I first met you, like the very first time I met you, you were definitely drunk, and that was my first impression of you. So from there, like I didn't know that you were that into science and stuff like that. Oh, well, into engineering. I didn't know that you were that technical. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I
Yeah,
didn't.
I mean, think about
I
it.
don't. I'm
Look,
not trying
yeah,
to
think
say it in
about
a
it. Like,
bad way, if that
no,
makes
it's
sense.
fine. I mean, set the scene. We were freshmen in college. We were at a group get together with like multiple people.
Yeah, we were. We were.
It
It,
wasn't, you know, we had a we were in the first semester, so it's like we just got there. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
So it's like, and also that's a lot of years ago. At this point, it's been
That
what,
is. I know.
8 years or
It's.
6?
I don't even
It's not,
like thinking about how long it's been because it
so it's
feels like
like,
we're so old now.
yeah, I mean, so I can totally understand why you would say like you didn't see that side of me based off that experience, you know?
Yeah. And then it was like as I got to know you more and I realized that like you really like that's something you've really been interested in it for like even in high school, weren't you doing stuff like that? You went to a what was the school? Like what kind of school was it? A magnet school?
Yeah, Western is kind of considered like, it's not a magnet school, but it's like considered like that. Like you have to apply to it in middle school
Mhm.
and then you got to get into it.
Okay.
And then my high school was really known for like singing and dance and poetry and the arts. But then the school that it's connected to was known for technology, and my school had a robotics program and stuff. And it was fun because I got to like skip class if I didn't like the class. I got to just go to the robotics lab and build my stuff.
Oh,
So
that's
that was pretty,
nice.
yeah, like it was fun. Like I'm still friends with all the young women that were in robotics with me. We all know each other still, and we're
Mhm.
all friends still.
Oh, that's so y'all's like a little like family of
Yeah.
robotics black women. You know, like that's I'm just saying like isn't that in your field, isn't it like predominantly like it's a lot of white people, it's not as many black people, right? Like in
Yeah, it's a
general, not
white. Yeah,
necessarily, you know.
no, I mean, it doesn't matter where you go. It's a white male dominated field. I've never been in a environment where women have been a majority.
Mhm.
Even when it's other black people, it's still mostly men.
Wow.
So even in college, like at my HBCU, it was still like in my class of 50 people that graduated in engineering, it was like 5 or 7 women.
Hmm.
So women is still 10% or less. So it's like that's normal.
That's good. That's good. And well, that's not good. That's actually a shame that it's not that many people, not that many women doing it because then men are controlling like technology and that's like something that runs everything. So that's just another thing for men to control, you know?
Hmm.
But okay, so what I was going to say is wasn't you saying once upon a time that you wanted to start a nonprofit?
Yeah, I'm still interested in starting a nonprofit. Um,
Okay. You want
I
to talk
have a
about that?
yes.
Okay, tell
So
me about it. Tell me about it.
so right now I have, so far the work I've done for the nonprofit. Um, my thought process is to first volunteer at various nonprofits to see how they do things
Mhm.
and get an idea on things such as the grant process, the volunteer process, 501c tax status, and things like that. So
Mhm.
as I volunteer, I learn these things, which help me give me experience to run my nonprofit. My
Okay.
goal is to eventually uh not work anymore and have that be my full-time thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I see it.
And then so far, I have written up like a draft that has the ideas, that have my ideas written on it, what the nonprofit is supposed to do, who it's going to impact, who's the target audience, how much funding do you need,
Mhm. So
like,
what's the next step?
yeah. The next step would be to obtain 501c status so that you're an official nonprofit, and
Okay.
then to actually obtain grant money so that you can start making changes.
Oh,
And also, it could be twofold. You can attain money through grants. You can also attain money like grassroots, like have people donate to you and things like that.
definitely.
But
How
because I
do
mean,
you get the 501c status?
I'm still working. I'm still working on it
So
because
that's the next step is to figure out how.
yeah, exactly. But
That's
the
the
one thing I'm kind of waiting, because the whole idea of this program is it to be an after school thing. where kids
Mhm.
come in person and they like build robots and they get to go on these field trips, like these STEM related field trips.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. Oh
it's
my
supposed
gosh. I just got an idea. You wanna hear it? You don't have to take it, or you can decide whether or not you think it works or
yeah,
not.
it's cool.
But there's this app called Airbnb. Well, you know about Airbnb, but they have like a side of it that's called Airbnb experiences. And with the Airbnb experiences, you can have it be in person, or you can have it be what you call it? You can have it be in person, or you can have it on Zoom. And what you do is you just put whatever you're going to teach, and they'll approve you, and then people can sign up. And you could offer it for whatever price you want. You could offer it for free if you wanted to.
Okay.
I'm just saying that would be a, like, I don't know. It in the case of like you're waiting for school to start back up again, and you know what I mean? Like all that stuff, cuz I don't even know if they do after school programs like
Yeah,
even when they start back up.
you're right. They have not been doing that. So that's been one thing on my mind because like the whole point is like they're supposed to have something physically built.
Mhm.
So I don't like I know they can do it virtually, but I would have to think like maybe once they become a member of this program or once they join,
Mhm.
I could send them something to their house they can build.
Possibly, but what I was saying is that's what I was saying with the Airbnb experiences, you can do in person or you can do virtual. So like I'm saying if you wanted an in-person experience, you could book, like you could put it up on there as an in-person experience, and you would just have to find the place to host the actual experience, and people will sign on if they want to do it. You know what I mean? Like it could be a family thing or it could be a kid thing. It could, I'm just saying you could go anywhere with it. But the
Yeah,
thing
right.
I'm trying to say is that that's something, because I'm saying because you can't do the school thing right now, I don't think you should give up on trying to pursue, which is just you're trying to teach kids how to do software engineering. You're trying to teach them how to do robotics or whatever it is technical that you're trying to teach them. You're trying to teach them something. I don't want you to feel limited with the pandemic, on when you go after that thing that you really want to do.
Yeah, I mean, well, before like literally in 2019, right before all of this happened,
Mhm.
um, I was actually in contact with a school in Baltimore that allowed me to use their facility and they were going to
Ooh.
allow me to use their labs, like their computer lab. So it's like we
Mhm.
already had computers and we already had a space
Mhm.
and we already had a school. So that was going to be like our pilot school to see how it works out. And it was going to target a small amount of middle schoolers and then high school.
Mhm.
So and it's going to start at that high school and then just keep growing from there. So
But that's in the past. You can't go back in
yeah, but
time.
that's why yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm really into doing it. I don't want students to have to travel nowhere far.
Mhm.
Because that'll make it like more difficult for people to have access.
Yeah,
So I'm
but
very much into doing it in people's communities
yeah,
within like either a short walk distance. And this is
yes.
and that's why it's like it has to be somewhere close. And then it has to be
Okay.
somewhere that has the like the materials, like the computers and everything already. Until we can grow and get enough money to buy our own computers that they can then loan out.
Mhm.
So it's actually a lot of moving parts, such as like the material, obtaining materials, having a place. Students are going through weekly testing right now who are even going to school in person.
So
So
there is something happening at the school sometimes.
yeah, students are back in school in person right now, but the after school programs really haven't came back. Sports are coming back a little bit. So
But the
it,
kids aren't going to school. They're not going to school every day anymore, I don't think, right? Or
they were
maybe.
back to school full time, but with the new variant, it's like up in the air. But the outbreak numbers for kids right now is actually lower than the general population.
Okay.
Because most kids like 10 to 13 are vaccinated, but I think they
Mhm.
can't get it if they less than 10.
Mm.
So it's some stuff to know, but I'm definitely thinking about it. And I may even shift my focus to doing older students too, like starting to do college people, maybe even
Yeah.
do them.
Yeah.
Because then you have less restrictions about safety. You have less, I mean, I still won't be safe, but you have less restrictions regarding like all of that if the group is older.
You ever heard of a software engineering boot camp?
Yeah, I have heard of those.
You
Those
ever
cost
think
a lot.
you ever think of maybe partnering with them?
maybe. Yeah, because maybe my thing could be like a pre thing to the boot camp.
Yeah, there you go. That's something right there. Like what I'm saying is that I don't want you to get caught up in like what you were thinking back when. I want you to like I just don't want you to give up on that goal because it seems like it's very important for you. Like I know the nonprofit's important, but overall it just seems like it's important for you to set that example for somebody else, to show them the way, because a lot of people have not gone down your path or even know what it's like to go down your path. So like you are a person of you're kind of like a even though you're not old, but you're kind of like an elder because a lot of like do you see anybody other than you like who really looks like you doing what you're doing like a lot?
Um, I would say, I mean, there are definitely, but I would say they're few and far between.
Yeah. So it's like we need to get more of our people into tech too, because
And that's
that's
another thing.
that's a great field to be in.
Yeah, I've talked like when I was at my last company, I sat down with the other Black women that were at my company. It was only about like 10 of us or 12 of us, and we all sat down and had lunch. And
Mm-hmm.
I told them about this idea, and a lot of them were really excited about helping me volunteer and basically
Oh,
help. Yeah, and they're helping. Like basically, what I see is like them being on like the board down the line.
oh
So when
wow.
like like when it comes down to me actually making this happen, like they're gonna be people helping me make key decisions. So
He- Hell yeah, but you are they still interested?
yeah, a lot of yeah, we're still cool.
Okay.
So I mean, I definitely see it happening, but my thing, I just have a lot of key values that I'm really trying to keep in mind. So it's just gonna take a while to make those things actually happen. Like
Do
one of my things is I want it to be completely free to the student who's gonna participate.
mm-hmm.
That's one thing, and I want it to be something close by and accessible. Like and then the another thing is a lot of other programs are teaching kids STEM. That is something that is known. There's tons of nonprofits who are doing a good job. But my other key point is that I want this to be the skills they're learning are like very, very valuable skills. Like not just doing the same old, 2 to 3 old projects or doing something very simple that, you can get offline. The stuff
Mm-hmm.
they're learning is stuff that you literally would pay for in a boot camp. And the skills they're
Yes.
coming up with is stuff that they can literally just like take and get a job where they take and now they can do something on their own. Like they don't
Wh-
like they it's very useful.
what if
So
you started your own boot camp?
yeah, I mean I'm not yeah, I don't want to do a boot camp though, but yeah, I see it.
I'm
I
just
have
saying I'm just saying that it's your vision. It's your vision. It's they wanna help and they probably will help, but the will and the urgency and the commitment has to be within you. Like
yeah, it is.
so it is. So it's like you have to be the one really carrying all those things out because even as much as other people they want to help, they probably will. It's just it's hard, starting from something from nothing. It's not easy.
No, definitely not.
And even the idea, like formulating the idea from start to finish, having a vision and being clear with yourself exactly like, okay, how much is this going to cost? Who do I need to reach out to? How much in funding
Yeah,
do I need to get?
yeah, and
Like,
all of that's in my proposal. That's the key point. All that stuff's in the proposal, which
and that
which
that's what
which
I've been
literally
saying.
depends. Yeah, which literally depends on it being, which is why I want to be there in person with them and not be virtual because I'm like I have this whole proposal in person, so it's like it's
But
a lot.
look at the what season we're in. Like, should we really be meeting in person?
No, no, I'm saying it's not. I mean, I'm putting it on hold. I'm not gonna force nobody to come in person now, but I'm just saying the vision and what needs to happen and for everything to fall into place, like, that's what I'm saying.
I understand. I understand.
But I am
Um,
very excited to talk about this, and I'm excited that you like asked me some questions about it.
yeah, yeah. Tell me about it. Tell me about the program that you have in the vision that you have in your mind.
Okay, so it's gonna be two different programs. One is going to be for groups, for the middle school group. So um, they have one set of assignments or one set of projects that they'll do.
Mhm.
And you come to this program, it's going to be bi-weekly at first, and then once you start to have enough material, enough volunteers, you can move to weekly. So you
Mhm.
meet once a week, kind of like you would for like a sports program, like practice,
Okay.
but you practice in coding, you practice in robotics and stuff like that. Uh, One argument I got from a lot of teachers is that they feel like this is something that's like competing with their STEM program,
Mm.
but it's really not, because this is something that the material you're learning in this class is not the stuff you're doing in class,
Mhm.
because it's hands-on, it's project-based. There's not going to be no test exams. It's just literally you building stuff, you creating something.
Yeah.
So the person in the program has to be really into just creating their own thing. So
Okay.
so you join the program, like, I guess there's going to be like an application process, but it really is just to make sure that whoever is in it really wants to do it. So
Mhm.
you apply to the program, um, and then you're able to come to these practices, kind of like how you have tryouts for a sport, and then
Yeah.
you actually join. Throughout the school year, you're working on building stuff. There's going
Mhm.
to be about 2 to 3 projects. And at the end of the project, you either have a working application that you can download to your phone, or you have a robot that you can play around with and take with you, or you have, maybe even a website that now you have published. So
Mm.
you have a physical thing that you've created now that's going to either help you for your applications, that you can go and take that and use that for your business. But you have something that's like a physical thing. Because
Mhm.
I feel like right now we're measuring students by their test grades, and we're measuring them based off like these arbitrary numbers. But it's like, what are you actually getting out of that?
Yeah. Do you really understand?
Exactly. And so that's why you have kids that are checked out. They're not passionate. They don't really care, because it's like, how different is like a 80 from like a 90? Like, yes, it's a number, but you know, I feel like school right now, the school programs, and a lot of schools are just focused way too much on test scores and grades. And I get it. I'm into those things too. But I want them to actually see that it's not always like that. When it comes to your passion, it's not going to be like that. It's not going to be a concrete thing, or
Mhm.
it's not going to be a number thing. It's going to be something concrete that you can actually like touch, basically. So,
Um.
so you do the projects, um, and when you graduate or when you have the end of the year, you have something that you completed. The students can stay in a program as long as they want. If they only want to do it 1 year, or if they can't do it for this next, project area, they don't
Mhm.
have to. They can go do something else. Because I understand sometimes people don't have time. So you sign up for it in sections, like a 3-month group. And if like a 3 to 6 month time, you sign up. And then if you can do it, you can. If you can't, it's fine. You can always come back. Then, um, once you become a member, you stay a member. Even
Mhm.
if you don't come to the project practices, you still are a part of the community. So if you have questions, you need help with something, internships, jobs for the high school students, they can still get access to all that. Um,
That.
of-
Okay. Keep going. Sorry. My bad.
yeah, and that's pretty much all I have to say. One good thing is about the program, free to students, like, and as this program grows, I hope that the program starts to get hookups. So like they know, like, oh, students in this program are really, really smart. So I like to hire them directly. So it's
Mhm.
like it's giving you an in for certain opportunities. But that's going to be something that's going to have to be built up as the program gets known, as the connections get made.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea, Sid. That's a very, very, I love it. It's like fully conceptualized. You have like the whole like they can stay on for a year or they can have options on what they're gonna do. So I like that a lot.
Thanks. Yes, I think it's going to be I'm really excited about it. Um, I definitely like have a school in mind, have a lot of the projects that I want them to do, like breaking this down. It's like breaking down into what type of projects will they be doing. Like I have a project idea for them to build their own PCB boards.
Mm.
So they can basically have an idea like, I want to create something that lights up and something that has all these different colors on it. And they're going to create their own board. They're going to, build it on a breadboard at first, hands on. Then they're going to build it on a computer. Then they can order it and actually solder all of this stuff together.
So
So
what
it's
is
like
so what's a breadboard?
that is a breadboard is a nickname for like a quick circuit board, and it
Okay.
allows you to quickly make your own circuit with just like the most simple materials. And a lot of electrical engineers or just people that want to build circuits build it on a breadboard first just to get their concept.
So what's a circuit?
Um, a circuit is just a flow of electrons, just a flow of energy. There are circuits all going on everywhere. There's circuits in your computer, in your cell phone, going on in your house. Anywhere where you have electricity flowing, you have a circuit.
Wow. I never knew that. Okay. Um, when you be talking about this stuff, you be using a lot of big words, or just words that I have never heard about before. So that's very interesting. Um, what I was gonna say is, when you was describing your whole program and everything, like I'm just envisioning like, wow, like all these kids are gonna be so like hype about software engineering and about building robots and stuff like that. Like that's cool. That's very cool because it's like the passion's with you, so you're gonna spread that passion with others, because you actually know what you're talking about, so you can explain it to someone who in a way that they can understand instead of just talking at them, you know.
Yeah, and that's the problem with most because we both been students a long time. I've been a student a long time. That's the problem with like 75% of science, math, engineering teachers. Even if they care about the topic, they don't care to teach someone else,
Hmm.
you know? And they don't know how to make it fun. They don't know how to make it interesting. They're steady trying to make it more difficult and less interesting, but they're making it more difficult than it even needs to be. So
Mm-mm.
that's one thing that's what my program is trying to bridge the gap with.
Do you feel like your degree prepared you for the workforce?
Somewhat. Um,
Because you
somewhat. I
got
mean,
because you got two degrees. You got
yeah.
a bachelor's and a master's. Do you feel like that prepared you for your workforce?
So for me, I would say like my undergraduate degree, I had
Hmm.
awesome teachers. People definitely cared about us at our school, but I do not use that stuff at all.
But
And
you went to a HBCU too.
yeah, no, our program was awesome, but it was just the thing of my particular jobs that I've gotten just happened to not really be related like that.
Mm.
I'm trying to remember a time where it did come up.
Related to your degree?
Yes, I'm trying to remember a time where my core classes came into play. The core classes only came into play at interviews, like where they would interview and ask me something. It might be something that came up in class, but the jobs that I've always had, my degree actually never came up. Like it was never a one for one concept that came up. So none of the math, none of the science, no.
So how
Well,
does that make you feel?
well, I would say maybe like let's say 30% of what I learned in college came out into play for the jobs. Just like I'll still give it a low percentage for the undergrad. Now, my grad degree comes up a lot more because that's where I'm trying to go basically with my
Hmm.
career more. So my grad degree comes up like the other 75%. And then I'll give the undergrad 25.
So you really think that your degrees prepared you, both of them, like combined, they prepared you?
Yeah, combined, yes, but the undergrad only a little bit. But what the undergrad did is kind of taught me like people skills and like working with others, talking with others, stuff like that,
Hmm.
like the soft skills. But
Yeah.
no, but I don't feel like I don't think I used too much of it, especially not like the freshman year. Nothing freshman year would come up much.
So do you feel like someone could be successful in engineering without a degree?
Mm, I mean, it's a lot of jobs I've had, a lot of people have had them. Um, I would say someone could definitely be successful if they had the right skill set. But then
Mm.
my thing is trying to get that skill set on your own. Because even though I'm saying didn't really use that much, like the coding stuff, I still was exposed to it.
In high school? I mean, in college?
Yeah, in college.
So you were exposed to it. So it's like it wasn't the first time of you seeing it.
Exactly. That's my thing.
Okay, so that's something is that your degree did teach you about coding, which
Yeah,
was
that's
helpful.
yes. So
So
the
when you say coding, you mean coding in what way?
coding with C++, plus plus, Java, and Python.
Mm-hmm. And you
Um,
use
I
that with what?
I use that for I learned that in classes, and then you're gonna use that for different projects that you might do outside of class or projects that a class assignment might give you.
So when you say project, I'm thinking, oh, y'all got to put a presentation together. Like I'm not sure what you mean when you say project.
Oh,
Like,
I'm saying like a project can be a presentation, but it can also be something that you're trying to actually build. So like in our stuff, our teacher will give us something and say like, "Hey, I want you to have a circuit. I want you to create a circuit that's going to make a sound, and you need to make that sound be at least this loud." So
wow,
you have to create. So you have to like actually find your materials, actually connect everything, make sure it's turning on, and then you need to code it using, maybe Python. So stuff like that was definitely important.
you were advanced, girl. I'm just thinking like that's a whole bunch of steps, man. Like that's a lot. But you like to do that,
Yes,
the problem solving.
exactly. So I can't shade the undergrad so bad. It was a lot of struggle and work, and no, a lot of that stuff don't come up, but that's just because it does come into play for certain people's jobs. It's just a particular job I have, it doesn't. But I could find a job that will use it.
Mm.
So it kind of just depends. Like I have a lot of friends who are in a lot of people graduated, but some of them work at banks and do stuff related to that. Some people, like I'm in cyber, so I'm on that side. Some other people are really technical, doing stuff with like waveforms and doing RF and stuff. So I
Like
mean,
audio engineering.
yeah, some people are into that. So if
So
they were doing the audio engineering or maybe doing RF radio frequency, they are using their degree more because that's the program what is really related to. So it's like it depends.
okay, well, let me kind of go into something you mentioned before. You said that with your college that it was a lot of workload and a lot of stuff that, didn't really come into play with your work. But I guess my question is that because technology is advancing, or is it because they're not teaching you hands-on stuff? They're just teaching you like theory and like ideas and not really concrete things that are you would do in the job, like workforce training.
You're right. I think that is a question that every single degree program across the country is trying to answer. Every single degree program wants to get away from theory and they want to go towards what industry is doing. But
Yeah,
they all struggle to do that because
they're
the
old.
professor, no, yeah, that's right. It's a lot of older people.
They don't
And
know.
right, yeah, because think about it, a lot of the professors are old and they've been tenured. So they've been at the university 20 years. In 20 years, technology has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't really know as well. And I mean, they're trying their best. I'm saying that could be something. Another thing is, you know, it's always a gap between what academia is doing and what is going on in industry.
Mm.
Because industry is changing so fast, technology is changing so fast. I would say that I was taught cutting edge technology because we did have young faculty people. We did go to conference and stuff like that.
But
But
also, weren't your teachers also engineers themselves?
a lot of them did have real world experience. But
Mm.
the problem is too, in order to really be a good engineer, you have to understand the theory first. Like you got to. So that's
Yeah.
what they're trying to do for undergrad. They're trying to teach you the theory to make sure you get it so that you can start applying it. So I kind of understand that, a lot of it is going to be theoretical. So it's a hard question to answer.
Honestly, that's something that, the reason why I say that is because way back when I was still working my corporate job, I was hating my job. So while I was hating my job, they let me actually put headphones on. So what I would do when I had my headphones on is I would listen to podcasts. But the podcast that I listened to was specifically about software engineering boot camps. And they were saying that the whole reason why these boot camps came about is because the 4-year degree didn't prepare a lot of people, and they would have to get additional training after they, like, you constantly have to keep learning to keep being updated. But that's with any job. But basically they're saying that the software engineering boot camps were like the cure to the lack that the degree had, because not only with the software engineering boot camp do you learn hands-on job, like cutting edge, like literally what you're supposed to be doing right now in current time versus like what we used to do way back when. I don't know exactly anything about
Yeah,
software engineering, so I
yeah,
can't speak too much on that, but I
yeah.
just know that's what the whole idea came from.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I would say my 2 cents on the topic is traditionally colleges were always like 20 years ago, colleges only had computer science. Computer science was the first degree. Before you had electrical engineer, before you had computer engineering, it was only computer science. Computer science is the grandfather. That's what
Mm-hmm.
old school colleges want to teach. And it's a lot that goes into it because schools have funding, and they have funding based on how many people sign up for their degree programs. So
Mm-hmm.
they want people to sign up for their computer science program. The problem is like you said, the old computer science program was very old school. It was maybe more focused on what is inside the computer and maybe how those components connect. But what they're not doing is teaching you about the coding on the computer. They're still
Mm-hmm.
on Fortran, which is very old. It's good. But that's the grandfather language. That's the language they were speaking thousands of years ago. We're on Java, we're on Python now. It's steady, it's so many more languages coming out for different things.
Yeah.
But the programs, they're still on computer science. They
Mm-hmm.
haven't moved to this, they haven't moved to where things are now. And so I see why the boot camps come into play. So I can definitely see that. But I would still say that there's some new programs, like they have computer engineer, and now you have the whole DevOps thing happening within
So they're
software development.
trying to add more.
Yeah, I definitely see the change, but it's hard and it's happening so quickly. So,
Well, they're competing now because they're competing against software engineering boot camps because people are finding out about those and choosing that over going for the degree. Because also with the boot camps is that, like, they, for some of them, you don't have to pay for the program until you get a job.
yep. And see, that's no, and that's key. I think boot camps are great. I feel like from my perspective, it's like the only thing was when I went through school first. So it was like, okay, I go through school, I'm done, I'm tired, and now they want me to go do a boot camp. And
I
it's like,
know.
I thought I was done. But
Yeah.
no, but I feel you though, because honestly, it's still good to get different knowledge. Like the more knowledge you have, even though I still have all this stuff in circuits and software, I'm
Hmm.
not using it, but I still know it. And if something comes up, I can step right into that role because I still have that knowledge still.
So that
So
makes
it's
you a
like
more valuable candidate. Like,
exactly, even
yeah.
if I'm not using it. And I feel like that's the same for everyone. It's never bad to get more experience. It's never bad to learn something.
Yeah. It makes you more valuable. That makes sense. Let's backtrack a little bit. I kind of like, we jumped into something so specific. I wanted to go back and like go back to like, let's talk about you. We talked about software engineering. We're gonna come back to it, but let's talk about you, Sid. Let's talk about, you told me who you are, and you're someone who likes to help people. Um, what kind of, okay, so what was your childhood like? Where did you grow up, and Just tell me what your childhood was like.
Um, so that's a good question. I guess I wasn't really thinking to answer that, but I was born in Baltimore, Maryland, born in January. I was born during a huge blizzard.
Oh,
Um,
oh wow.
yeah, like it was a huge blizzard in 1996, and I was born during that. And like they had to like slide, they literally had to like slide down the hill to the ambulance to get to the hospital. It was a lot.
Wow.
And it's funny because this year it's also gonna snow close to my birthday. It always snows in this area around this week. So every year I can do stuff, but then it also be snowing. So
That's crazy. That's
it's
crazy.
pretty cool though.
You want to travel somewhere?
Yeah, it would be nice to go somewhere warm because it's always like this week is the coldest week, like
You want
around this time of year.
you want to go down south?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think one year I'm gonna travel. Like, I definitely want to go to Mexico or like go to like Florida, like stuff like that. So I
Mhm.
will do that one time.
Okay.
And then my childhood, I would say was good. Um, Me and my mom are very close. We like love spending time together, love doing a bunch of fun things.
Yeah, y'all are really close.
Like we're our
Very
family,
close.
our family's big on like my family's really big on cooking and like family feast and cookouts and all of that. Like all of that was fun and like the neighbors would come and like I remember whenever we would have cookout, we had a huge grill and our neighbors would come and just eat and we would just chill.
So you have a loving family.
Yes.
Okay. What were you like in middle school?
Um well, it's funny because at first like career wise, I really wanted to be a teacher. Like that was my dream job.
Mhm.
So I think at some point in middle school, I definitely wanted to do that. I wanted to be a model because I was super into like hair and makeup and like getting into that. Um, I was a bit of a drama queen. Like I had a lot of drama going on constantly.
What kind of drama?
I don't know. I mean, you when you're at that age, like when you're at that middle school age, you're just very like I say that as someone who works with students now. Like they want to do their own thing. They're figuring out who they are. Like they like something one day and they change their mind because you're just at that phase in life where
Yeah.
you're meshing into yourself.
Mhm.
So in middle school, I was definitely doing that, and I was very like, you know, I was dramatic, you know,
About what?
everything. No, just kidding. I don't know. Like just like it was definitely like a good time. I was into like I did singing. I did like choir for a bit, and that was fun. I did track and field for a bit. That was all right. I never really was into sports though, so sports were not my thing.
Same. I
So,
definitely sports was never my thing. Um, okay. What are some things that you okay, what about high school? What were you like in high school?
um, oh, okay, so yeah, one thing I'll add to the middle school thing because I almost forgot about it. In middle school, I feel like I was like smart or whatever, but I was not like the smart kid or whatever. Like I don't know if other people have smart kids at their school,
Oh, you
but I
didn't you so people thought you were smart?
no, people did not think I was in middle
Oh,
school.
what? What do you
No, because I
mean?
told you I was like a little drama queen. I was having little problems. I was like, I don't like you. Like I was all dramatic in middle school. Like I was
Okay.
like the difficult one. Like I don't really know why, but like I just had that like little thing of like, she's her like, and I feel like maybe you even like, well, I don't know what it was, but I just had this thing where I was not that person. I was just like doing my work to do my work for sure. And I wasn't like doing anything bad, but I wasn't known for being into my work at that time. It was more of just like, you're in school, you're quiet, you're doing what you need to
Okay.
in middle school. And then in high school, it definitely became more of like, me getting known for being smart and me getting known for having good grades and me kind of finding out different stuff and
So,
finding that me figuring out what I wanted to do. Because I originally went to my high school because my high school was known to be a teaching school. But then we had electives in school, so I did one for medicine and I saw them do a surgery and I didn't like it. So I said, nah.
yeah.
But then I did one for like building computers. I did that and I thought that was cool. And then I did the robotics thing after school and I did drama club and eventually something stuck. But like it was just me trying out different stuff. High school was a good time. I would say high school, like I found my niche of people and like I found some good friends and like had some cool experiences.
Okay. That's good though. That's good. That high school was a good experience for you. You didn't have to experience like you didn't experience bullying and stuff or
No, not
friendship
in high
stuff.
no, not in high school. No, in middle school I did. But looking back on it in middle school, I think I was actually bringing a lot of problems because if you say something about people, they're gonna say something back. So it's like,
So you was talking about people?
yeah,
I understand. We all have our ways that, it was just you were that was you at the time.
yeah, but it was. I mean, it was a fun. Middle school was chill, like, and it's just such a weird time. So it was good though. I
Sorry,
always went to.
say that one more time. It cut you off. What'd you say?
I said middle school can be like a weird time too.
Yeah.
But one good thing is like I always did church camp every year. So like even though I didn't have the most friends at school, I always had my friends at church, and we were really nice. Like we were really friends.
Mm.
So I had like friends from church, friends from Bible study. Then I had family too, like cousins and all of that. So that was all really fun. It was just school in particular because I
Mhm.
was in the same school K through 8. So by 8th grade, you've been around the same people. So you're tired of each other.
Wow. That's a long time.
Yes, I just think it was just too long around the same group of like 30 kids.
Yeah.
You know everything there is to know.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I understand. That makes sense. I mean, what was the vibe like at an all girls school?
A lot of people think it's bad, but like I liked being at an all girls school. I would say it was fun. Um, it was good because it was like empowering because most of the teachers were women and then all the students were women too. So it's like we were allowed to ask whatever questions we wanted to. And like even when we were reading certain books, like when we read Scarlet Letter for an AP class, we were all seeing it from the woman's perspective. Like, why did
Mhm.
you have to leave the village? Why did you like, like we was all seeing it from her perspective. So it's like, it was just a good environment.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. It sounds like it was a good experience for you. Like, and also I'm sure like it's Baltimore, so it's like it's majority black, right?
Yeah, definitely it was. I mean, yeah, I would say that non-people of color might have made up 10% or less, but it was pretty much all black.
Okay.
That
That's
that was fun too because like when it came to like natural hair was glowing like when I was in high school. So that was really fun because at my middle school it was actually majority white. So natural like nobody was really natural like that. So in middle school I would always straighten and flat iron my hair and like relax it. I would relax it and then I would flat iron it on top of it to try to get it straighter.
oh
and it,
Lord.
and it wasn't coming out like it wasn't working.
I
But then in
understand.
high school, everyone was natural. Everybody had braids and like they knew how to do hair and stuff. So I was like, okay, let me try to be natural. And then I transitioned in high school and it worked and like my hair started flourishing.
That's
So
good. That's good. So you big chopped or you transition
yeah, I did transition for a bit. Um yeah, I transitioned for like a little while. So that was fun. I used like the roller set and all of that.
with the transitioning?
Hmm.
Yeah, I was doing them flexi rod outs and stuff. Yeah, I remember. I know what you're talking about. But what I was gonna say is, okay, so you went to school, a black, basically it's a whole bunch of black girls, at
Yeah,
the
it
same
was
school.
lit. Yeah, it was super. Yeah, exactly. It all was, and that's why I really felt like I was at home, and I would say I found my niche of people, cause like even though the whole school was black girls, you still have all your different groups. Like you got the jocks who like to do sports. You got, the people that like to do art and stuff like that. You have the people who like to sing. Like you still have all your different groups, but they're all black women. So it's like you
Mm.
fit in with them, automatically. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna find someone who's like you. Versus like at a predominantly white school, my experience was that like it was only a little bit of black people, like let's say like five, right? But we were all forcing ourselves to be friends because it was only five of us,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah.
I, I mean, that might have been, I'm not saying it's always like that for everyone, but that's how I felt. But it's like we're all such different people, but we forcing ourselves just because of what we look like. You,
Oh, yeah. Because not everybody gets along,
exactly.
and just not everybody gels together. Like, but that's the great thing about like the transitioning time too. Because I don't know about you, but I was looking forward to getting out of high school. Like, I was very much so looking forward to college and getting away from home.
I can see that. I can feel that.
You missed home.
Yeah, I mean, for like, well, because McDaniel was cool where we went, but it actually really wasn't my first dream school. Cause
Yeah.
so it's like I was very proud and happy to go there,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just like, I don't know. So it was like it was cool, but it was like, that was a thing. But I did like it. I loved being in college.
Like the
But
experience of being in college.
yeah, I definitely liked being in college. College was great. College was definitely some fun years. Like I loved making friends. I loved like, getting used to everything and all of that. But for me, the type of person I am, it's gonna take me like 3 to 6 months to get used to anything I do. Like even if I start a new job, it's gonna take me a few months just to even get used to going there, get used to the people. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like freshman year, I was still getting used to stuff.
And then you was out.
What do you mean?
Like, I'm saying you wasn't there that long. You know
Oh
what I
yeah, I was
mean?
there for 1 year, true.
So
But
it's
it was
like
like,
you barely got used to it, and then it's because it wasn't for you. It just wasn't for you. Like, it was there. It was there for you for some things, but not like you weren't supposed to graduate from McDaniel. You know what I mean? Because they didn't even have the type of program that you were looking for.
right, yeah, that was my thing. They ended up saying that they were not like accredited and stuff for what I was trying to do. And that was like a big red flag because you need that to
Yeah,
be able to get jobs and stuff.
that's wild
And
that
so they were about
they
to make
pulled
me
the
pay like
switcheroo on you.
yeah, they were gonna make me pay a bunch of money to do something that wasn't even my like
Your
so
field.
that was yes, that was the only like downside.
Hmm.
But I'm glad because like I made good friends. Like I'm glad because I got to be on my own.
Yeah,
And when you in college, you gonna get thrown in the waters. Like you got to make your own decisions,
you
and that's a
do.
lot. That's a lot.
It is a lot, but here's the thing. It's a part of growing up. It's a part of growing up, and it's a great thing. It's not an easy thing, but it makes you stronger.
Yep, and that's yep, exactly.
But what I was gonna say is, okay, so we kind of sped past a little bit because I jumped into something, but okay, so you went to Western, a all black girl school, and then where's Western actually located? Like, where in Baltimore?
Um, like
Like, what road is it by, or what
oh, okay, okay.
town?
Oh yeah, Yeah, I would say it's off of Cold Spring Lane. I'm trying
Okay,
to just think of what they call that area.
west,
No,
northwest,
it's weird because even though it's called Western, it's not in West Baltimore, but it's
central,
also
kind of.
yeah, it's like in Central because it's not really East Baltimore either. It's kind of like North
It's on the
Baltimore.
line a little bit. I know what you're talking about, though. It's like up there by Moravia Road.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I actually go to the dispensary over there. So what I was gonna say is, all right, so because I'm trying to visualize it in my head, like, okay, so Sid, she went to Western, she was with all these girls and stuff. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I just feel like I didn't know I liked girls back then, but like I feel like that would be a lot of temptation if you like girls.
Um, I mean, I mean, it's that reputation for sure. A lot of people think, oh, girls at Western are gay. That's not true. If you already gay, then you're probably gonna be gay. But that has nothing to do with the school. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be because like it's not that has nothing to do with it because the boys are literally in the same they're in a building connected to you and literally all you have to do is go to the quad and you can see boys if you're trying to see boys.
So what's the
And
school that's connected to it?
Polytechnic Institute or something like that, but Poly is connected. And even with that, it's other boys and girls schools, such as like Northwestern, I think. They're like down the street. And they
Mm.
used to come like after school and they used to talk to girls and say hi and stuff. Like
Okay.
they would come to another school just to come to our school just to see girls.
Okay.
So
So,
it's not that.
all right. So, with that, okay, so you know how they be like, okay, you went to you did this if you went to Poly, or you did this if you went to Western, or do you feel like the schools are like classified a little bit? Like, is it there's a difference between the schools, or that's just people trying to separate people?
Is there a difference between various high schools in Baltimore?
I'm saying, isn't there four really big like high schools that everybody went to? Like, I know there's Patterson, there's Poly, there's Western, and then there's one more that
The city.
City. Everybody
Yeah.
knows those four schools. Aren't those the four
That's
schools
just
that everybody go to?
no, everyone doesn't always go to those schools. I think the alum is just the loudest from those schools because of how the school is. Like I know everybody from Western, they're gonna like I graduated like almost 8 years ago, but I'm still gonna just say it. I still have my Western gear and I still will wear it from time to time because I just love my school.
So it's
So
like a
it's just
repping
yeah,
your school
everybody
type of
just feels
thing.
yes, everyone like is just very extra from the
Yeah.
school. And Western people are very big on tradition. Like we have certain things that's like other high schools don't have, such as like you have your class colors, you have your class song, your ring dance,
Mhm.
like and also when you go from year to year, like you have your junior day where you wear your colors and your senior day. So it's like you're progressing as you go through and you're
Mhm.
expected to like rise to the occasion and stuff. So I feel like because of that, a lot of Western people are very proud, and that's just probably why you hear the most about them. Also, those alum give back to the school a lot of money and their time, and they come back and they teach. So
Aw.
it's probably that. But I don't think it's anything like all Baltimore City schools still have a camaraderie, regardless of what school it is.
Like everybody gets along.
Yeah, it's not. They just do that because sports. Western technically isn't really in it, I don't think, because the the schools probably just have that because their sports teams play each other all the time. Same thing with robotics teams. Like our robotics teams played the other city schools. Like Patterson, for example, used to beat our team sometimes because
Mhm.
it wasn't that many schools in the city that had robotics. And then the ones who were good, we knew who they were. But it's just like a little rivalry, you know,
Yeah.
so
I
that
know.
everybody ends up getting better.
But that's good. That's like a good
Yeah,
camaraderie.
yeah, it was definitely cool though. And
Okay.
I don't know why the other city schools they don't get talked about as much though.
It's definitely Western is the one that I hear about the most, but maybe it's a lot of y'all.
Yep. And also the Poly City game is really big, and they do that at the stadium, and people still come back. That's like equivalent to like Morgan's homecoming. People are always gonna come back to homecoming because that's their thing. Gives
Mhm.
them memories and stuff.
That makes sense. That makes sense. It's kind of cool that people come back for the homecoming, the game, right?
Yes.
And then do y'all have parties after, or because that's a high school game?
No, no, that's anything people do is not related. That's here nor there. That's on their
Yeah.
own time. That's off the record. I don't know.
I understand. Okay, so all right. what was it like growing up in Baltimore?
Um, it was pretty chill. Like a lot of people probably have like a lot of different, like when you ask this, you'll get a whole bunch of different answers because it's a whole bunch of different people that have a whole range of experiences.
Yeah.
But me, I was somebody who was like, if I wasn't going to school or I wasn't going to church, I wasn't going nowhere. So it
Huh?
really for me, it really wasn't like that much because like my environment didn't really play a role because it's like
You stayed in the
I either
house.
I either was with my friends who were like friends from church or like my friends when I was younger who wasn't my school friends was like my mom's kids' friends.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's my, you know, so it's like we friends, but that's just like your auntie, you know, their kids. So it really wasn't like too much going on like that.
Okay.
But it was a cool time. Like we did the aquarium a lot and that was fun. Um, I did this one camp where we used to always take every single week. Our church camp would take us to Security Mall, and we would like watch movies on Tuesdays,
Oh,
matinee day,
yeah.
and they would give us a little popcorn, a little drink, and it would be so like we would think that was like the most extra thing.
Like a great experience, like something to look
Yeah,
forward to.
and then we had like the pool, so we did that. Then we would walk and we play games and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say growing up in the city was good because like it's a high concentration of people that's like you. Like you go like I was happy because like when I was at home or I was at church, like it was like my friends. But then I was always encountering problems at school where I was like the odd one out. So
Mm.
it was nice. And like even in high school growing up in the city, it was cool because when we would have time out, we would go to like the harbor and like chill there and like get food and stuff.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, so it was like I would say like honestly the positive for me does outweigh the negative. Like yes, there is some problems with being in the city, but for me it's like the problems of being in the city don't outweigh the problems don't outweigh the positive because even though like it might be some time like being around certain people is annoying or you might not like it. It's like being around your people, even good or bad.
Yeah.
That's my attitude on it.
You just like your people. You like being around your people. That's something that you feel strongly about.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess
Well,
so.
I mean, that's why you went to a HBCU too. So, I mean, it's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. So, um, with okay, I'm losing track of my thoughts. Hold on. Okay. All right. All right. So, going to college, you went to college, you finished college, you went to your master's. Let's talk about your experience with being a Black woman student in a software or electrical engineering program. Let's talk about that. Like, what kind of experiences did you have there?
Um, I would say it was a, it was mostly like honestly 80, 85 to 90% were just like any other student.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was one good thing is like the black women were so few that the ones that you would see freshman year were the same people you were going to see senior year. So you knew who you already had your friend group.
Mm-hmm.
So like me and one like me and my one friend, we found each other freshman year, and the way she does her work and her strengths perfectly balanced with my strengths. So we
Mm-hmm.
just stuck together all 4 years being partners.
Oh.
And yeah, she's awesome. Like she's great. She like because I have certain friends who I love to death, but I can't work with them because they're a certain type of working style. But she finishes her stuff early, like great at documentation. We were perfect.
Oh.
So
That's
and like
good.
yeah, like I'm still her friend. Like, she's doing great things. She lives out of state now and is
Oh.
doing well. So it's like once you're gonna find your, somebody that like a lot of people that you're cool with. And when we all graduated, like all of the 7 women, I knew, like I was literally like close friends with at least like 5 of them, and the other two that I didn't know, that's because they were like not in my major. I probably didn't get to talk to them as much, but
Mm.
like we all knew each other's faces. So that's cool that you like have that community.
Yeah.
So I would say as a Black woman, most of it was good. Now it was the only annoying thing was certain guys would like if you were to be assigned a group with them, they are nice. Most guys are great. But sometimes they try to like tell you like, "Oh, I want you to be the note taker," or "Oh, I want you to do this." Like they try to tell you what to do. And it's
Mm.
like, "What? Don't tell me what to do."
For
So that
real.
that could become like a little slight problem where you'll have to like let them know how this is gonna work, or
Mm-hmm.
certain stuff. But I'm not bossy, but when I'm on a group, sometimes I like to know what we're doing or like have a plan. And so because of that, it kind of like set some guys off because they don't like to be told, like they don't want to feel like they're being bossed around. So
Mm.
that's just me personally. Other women might not experience that, but sometimes men don't want to hear direction from a woman because if a man does it, he's a leader. But if a woman does it, she's bossy.
Mm.
So that's like a slight issue
The
I have.
double standards.
Yup.
Yeah. I understand.
And then most of my male teachers were great, very supportive, didn't treat me different. They were fine. But I did have like two sexist teachers that definitely, like, I would raise my hand and sometimes they would answer me, but they would call on everybody else first and then they would finally answer.
Wow.
Like I'm like, I see you.
So you
I
had
see
your
you.
hand up for a long time.
Yeah, they would try to ignore me and stuff.
What the hell?
So
What?
it's not most, but it's only like a real small people, a real small group that's going to do that.
Was he black?
Hmm.
What the hell?
They just old.
Wow.
But it's
I,
also not a lot of them. Like there was some of them that was very very sweet, like very nice. But certain ones be trying to play.
so okay, so let's talk about a little bit like okay, so you went to high school at Western, a all black girl school, and then you went to McDaniel for a little bit, decided that wasn't the route for you. Then you transferred to the other school, the HBCU. My question is like, what was it like going to a HBCU? Like, what was that experience like? Because like you were a transfer, so you know, what was that like for you?
It definitely it was good. It was different though because like I didn't really know a lot of. Well, did I know people? Well, actually, here's the thing. I did know a little bit of people. Here's the thing. I always knew about Morgan from the time I was like. I actually went to a high school program at Morgan when I was in high school. Like, or
Wow.
I had already been there before, but I didn't want to go there because they're literally down the street from my high school. So I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
go to a street that was like down the street around the corner. I was trying to go do something else. But
Yeah.
that's not because Morgan I ever heard nothing bad. It's just like I was trying to do something else for a change. So
Yeah.
so when I did transfer to Morgan, it's like I kind of did know a couple of people because I knew some people from my high school that we were still cool, and then they
Yeah.
also just went to Morgan. So I wasn't completely like alone or by myself. And I did pretty much like pick up friends in my major.
Mm-hmm.
And I already, and I still had my friends from McDaniel, like I had you and Kyla, I had high school friends. So it
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel like I was really like didn't know anybody like that. And because I transferred in like only as a sophomore, I did end up meeting people.
That's
Like
good.
everyone was still kind of like new a little bit.
So you weren't the only kind of new person.
Yeah. And it was so few women in our program, to be honest, that it's like I was cool with all of them. Now, I didn't really venture out and talk to a lot of women from outside my program because I was a commuter and I had a part-time job and I was taking classes. I didn't really like socialize with a lot of people outside my major like that because I didn't see them in class and I wasn't in a bunch of like extracurriculars. I never crossed or did a sorority or anything. I
Hmm.
was thinking about it, but I never actually did it. So like I never really met like that many people like that. And because I was a commuter, it's like, okay, when I'm done, I'm gonna do my work and I'm gonna go home. So I only socialized like some.
Hmm.
But it was all right. Like I did want to stay on campus, but I think at the time, something with the housing and the rooming agreement or something, like something didn't happen right. I didn't sign some paperwork and then they ran out of space, so I couldn't even stay on campus. So I was just living at home like the whole college time.
So it was kind of like being back in high school a little bit.
Somewhat, but then you have more freedom as to like in between your classes and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's definitely true. That's one thing I definitely appreciate about college compared to high school is like all the freedom you have with your time, but it's also a good and a bad thing because if you're a procrastinator, it's easy for you to, not be doing what you're supposed to do. Like I feel like college is not for everybody. Like if you're not on it about stuff like that, like I feel like if you're not going to take it seriously, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, I see that.
Because it could be a waste of money, and that's money that you can't pay back yet. Like you won't even be able to pay back until you secure something.
True.
But okay, so when you went to college, didn't you get like you got free tuition or something like that, right?
Yes. So I was very happy about that. Like I was in a program that pretty much paid tuition and then I didn't need any room and board because I didn't stay on campus. I didn't have a meal plan or anything.
Damn,
But
girl.
no, I had no meal plan. I just had to go to whatever surrounding places of the college.
No, I'm
But it was
saying, damn, like you're blessed. Like that's a blessing to not have like that much
yeah,
debt or
yeah,
any debt.
basically, yeah, all my debt is from freshman year. So basically, literally the first year of college, they did pay my tuition too, but the room and board was so expensive, it cost more than like just the room and board alone is more expensive than the tuition of the other school
Yeah, that's
because
crazy.
that's how high it is.
That's crazy, man.
And
McDaniel be scamming.
going into college, I didn't understand this. Like I didn't understand that that just room and board cost that much.
How
Like
much?
I thought,
How much around about? How much was the? I mean, you don't have to say exact amount. I'm just saying, like, was it like 10,000, 20,000?
yeah, I think room and board at McDaniel was like between 10 and 15,000 just for room, board, and food.
That's crazy.
Like that's just 1 year.
And imagine you went all four if you had went all 4 years. But the thing is, you had a scholarship too. That's the thing.
And
Like
that's where I didn't understand because I'm
they be
thinking, oh,
scamming you,
but
man.
I'm thinking like, oh, if the tuition is paid, then you good. Like
Yeah, nah,
I
nah.
didn't. You're right. I was literally
I know,
ignorant. Like
right? No, but here's the thing. People don't know that. They don't know that. And they need to know that. So I'm glad that you mentioned that because I'm thinking back, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Cause it was always a little extra, even because the thing is I had to get loans to pay for my school. So I
right,
got I got loans for all 4 years. All 4 years. But it wasn't that it's not as bad as it could be, I would say. Cause I've heard of people saying they have like 150,000 in student loans and stuff like that.
yeah,
Like
I've heard people say that too.
and it's just
Yeah,
like,
I've definitely
damn,
heard
just
that.
imagine that over your head. Imagine that, like, just like the rest of your life. Like I'm just
Right,
like,
and
damn, bro. Like,
like I'm passionate about people being educated because like I don't think community like here's the thing for me, I don't think community college is a bad option to get your prereqs. That's not a bad option. Or
definitely
to
not.
go to a lower cost school, like if a HBCU is going to give you a scholarship, go to that school. Like I don't know, like
Yeah, go to save your money because you don't have any yet. You're spending borrowed money. That's not good. That's not a good way. So, okay, we could talk about that because that's the idea. That's the whole thing. Is that it's kind of expected that you go into debt. It's
right, and
ex-
it
it's expected that you get some student loans, you get a house, you get some cars, get some credit cards. They expect you to go into debt.
Right, and that's why to me it's like I did kind of switch up and like okay, I did try to go to a school that was like less expensive, and then I worked at all points like literally as soon as I started at Morgan, I used to work at JC Penney, then I used to work in the lab for engineering department, then
Mm-hmm.
I had another on-campus job, I think, like the library for a little while. And
Yeah.
then like I pretty much always had at least one little job, even if it wasn't making like that much. So it's like I think it's really important to our college students, like you have to work because you still need like pocket money and stuff. Oh, and
Yeah,
I
and
always
if
did
you're living on campus, you're not, because you had a good situation where you could just go home and your mom got a full fridge stocked full of food and you don't have to worry about anything. But if you're out in the middle of nowhere, you gotta stock that fridge.
exactly. So you're buying groceries and stuff like that. And then
Hmm.
all these meals on campus, they expensive.
If you get a fridge, if you even have a fridge, like some people don't even. I think you get a mini fridge in some rooms, like some. Okay, so like we could even talk about dorms and stuff like that, because I know when we were okay. So what about that ripoff? Freshman year, okay, freshman year we was all in Rouser. Thank God we was all in Rouser together. That was pretty cool that we was all in the same building, but only my floor had AC. All y'all didn't have AC.
Yeah, that place, it was cool, but that joint, it was a lot.
It was a lot. Like you don't have AC, you don't really have a way to make food, so you kind of have to go to the dining area. And the
Right.
dining area is like trash. Like it's literally.
Right, it's not worth the amount you paying. Like for all this
It's
money, yo, literally, if you break down how much, if we're paying 10K just for room and board, like break that down as to how much am I paying per month just like for rent, just to
hmm.
share a room with one person. Like they're making so much money.
Yeah, they are.
You being overcharged. And I know for the meal plan, I ain't even eat all those meals.
For real. And then it's like you don't get no refund. You know what I heard? Oh my goodness. You know what I heard? Okay, so this is so random. I was driving Lyft, and a Lyft took me all the way to Owens Mills. And then the next Lyft took me all the way to Westminster. And I picked up somebody and I was talking to him. I was like, "Hey, how you doing? X, Y, and Z." I'm like, "Oh, I was just like, do you live in Westminster?" He was like, "Yeah, yeah." I was like, "Did you go to McDaniel?" He was like, "Yeah, I went to McDaniel." I was like, "Me too." So we started bonding or whatever. And he was telling me how basically they went virtual during the pandemic and they didn't have a graduation. It was like on Zoom. They didn't have a physical graduation. They weren't on campus for that whole time. And they didn't get a tuition reduction or anything like that for going online.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's a huge dip and students are definitely getting the short end of the stick. And a
Yeah.
lot of these private, and that's the thing, a lot of these private, McDaniel's a private university, so they're gonna do that. They're gonna be the ones that charge the highest price, and they're not as regulated as the state as the in-state or public schools.
And you know what's wild? Um, my high school teacher was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, you need to go to a private school. You need to go." I
No.
mean, she was saying it so hard. She was like, "Yeah, private schools got money. You need to go to a private school." Like it's kind of like she was trying to coach me into getting student loan, a whole bunch of student loan debt. I know she was trying to help, but you know what I realized about teachers, and this is not to disrespect any teacher. I know teachers do their absolute best. They do their absolute best. But if you ain't seen anything and that's the only way you know, that's the only way you can teach. You know, you can only teach what you know. So if they don't know the right things, they're teaching the wrong things to more people who don't know the right things. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like what I notice in our community is that knowledge doesn't really get passed down, as much as it should, I feel. Even just little things as like we were just talking about with college, like you just said you don't want to go to a private school. I was told the absolute opposite. I was told I should go to a private school. But it was because I really wanted to have a college experience. That was the overall. That was my reasoning why. I really wanted to have a college experience. That was something that was very important to me because I really had to get out of my parents' house. Like I had to get out of the house. I had no choice. It was either keep being the same person or change and adapt and be better and grow. So that's crazy. That's crazy. And I don't like I'm not regretful because I feel like I own the decisions that I made. I'm glad that I went to McDaniel College and graduated, but I wouldn't advise anybody to go there. I really would not encourage anybody to go to McDaniel College. I wouldn't even advise anybody to go to college if you don't really want the experience. Like, if it's not that serious, go to a freaking community college and save your money. Don't waste your money. Go to a community college that has free tuition
Yeah, I
because,
would say go there for maybe a year or two to get your prereqs.
yeah.
Get your associates. Go get your associates from a community college, and then you still need your 4 year degree.
But
Then
did
go
you have
ahead and
any
do that.
issues with transfer? Like, did you have any issues transferring credits? Because that's something too. Like,
They
when,
did. Morgan State did take all the credits. It's just that certain classes that they try to teach at McDaniel just were not like based on the name and based on what the topic was. They were
mm-hmm.
like, we don't have anything equivalent to this.
So they
So
couldn't match it up,
yeah, like you just have like this is just an extra credit.
like
So now you're
electives.
gonna have to just still take our version because this isn't really the same.
So it didn't really
It didn't
going
help
to
them.
McDaniel didn't help you get forward. You had it kind of set you back.
No, no, I mean certain classes counted. Um,
Okay.
I would say probably like 75% of the classes did count.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. Most of the classes counted, but not all. But freshman year for a lot of people is just to help you like get like freshman year for everyone is just like prereqs and stuff. Knowing most people don't get into their core classes until sophomore, junior year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. So with the transferring, you didn't have that much of an issue, but I want to move forward a little bit because I'm keep being upset about this whole college thing because it makes me
Okay.
so angry, man. Like, it just
I mean,
you
my 2 cents,
know,
I think college is worth it. I would recommend young people to go to college. Um, just I don't mean you have to live there, but just go and attend and do your thing. Um,
if you're in a
'Cause-
specific field, I feel like, yeah.
but
But
even if all
certain
the
fields, you know.
I feel like yes too, because the thing is for me, it's like going to college, it also allowed me to do internships. So I made sure like I did an internship. My freshman year I didn't do one. But like sophomore, junior, senior, and everything, I think I got
Mm-hmm.
my first internship sophomore year. And like doing that, it's like it allows you to get your feet wet in the workforce. And I'm not gonna lie, like my first internship, I did make a little bit of mistake. Um, like I met this one young man there and I thought he was really cute and like I started trying to date him at the little job, but he was an intern too.
Mm-hmm.
And that was I mean, I would say that's a mistake because when you go to the job, you want to be focused on your work and you don't want to be getting sidetracked. But I was a sophomore. I was still a little bit stupid. So it's
It's
like
You
I
weren't
learned
stupid. You were young. You were,
yeah, I
you know,
still had to learn. So it's
yeah.
like making those mistakes as an intern, like and I had certain mentors that stuck with me from my internships and I like got to learn from people, got to watch people. I learned how to work on teams with different individuals. Like it allows you to get certain experiences in college that
Mm-hmm.
money can't necessarily tell you or can't. And like I did a lot of growing in college. So
Absolutely.
so because of that and having that time to do that, having that time to grow, I would still say it's worth it. I would not change my journey and I wouldn't make it different. So don't feel like that, Khadija. Don't feel like, oh, I wasted the money. But it's like you grew a lot.
I did grow a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I can agree there as far as like getting experience and even the social skills thing. Cause that definitely, like, before college, I wasn't talking to anybody and I was just staying to myself. Like, I was like literally high and by. So I do feel that there are benefits to going to college. I'm not gonna shit on it, but what I was saying, it's not that okay, so this is what I'm saying. This is what frustrates me is it kind of being pushed on people as the only option because And maybe it's because the people who are pushing it on them, that's the only option that they know, so they can't talk about anything else. But it's like, now that I've finished college and I like pursued my own path and I found out more information about what opportunities are out there, it kind of makes me angry for the people who are still getting told that this is the only way, you know? Like, this is the only path. The reason why I say that is because I feel, and truly and honestly in my heart, I feel if you're not going to do a lawyer degree, if you're not going to do some type of STEM, I don't feel like you should be going to college. Because, I mean, unless it's just, if you're trying to get the college experience, go get the college experience. If you're trying to go for a specific field and it needs a degree for it, go for it. But there's always a cap. There's always a cap on many fields. I'm not talking about tech. I'm not talking about medicine and stuff like that. But when it comes to other majors in different fields, there's a cap. There's a cap on how much money you can make. So when people are pushing you down that path, and they're also realizing that, like, do you see the state of the economy? Do you see the way that people are struggling? Do you see the way that taxes are hurting people who don't make that much money? Taxes are hurting them even more. So it's like you're pushing them down a career that is only going to take them so far. You can't really build real wealth just having having a 9 to 5 with a regular old major, because you're gonna get the same jobs that everybody else gets, and it's not anything that's gonna take you anywhere. Like, you have to climb the ladder, but you're climbing someone else's ladder, which means that it's not your ladder. You're building something for someone else. You're doing the hard work for instead of building something for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see what you're saying. And I do think for a lot of fields that can be true. I would say my only piggyback off of that is, I think when you're in college, I was sold this idea that if you graduate, that's enough. Like, just go to school, get good grades, that's all you need. And
That's what they
as
say.
I realized my time in school, that's not all you need. You need a lot more
Mm-hmm.
stuff than that.
You
You
do.
need to know, yeah, you need to know how to interview. You need to know how to create connections with your fellow students. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I graduate, now that I graduated, I have friends at IBM, I have friends at JP Morgan, you know, I got friends in
You have
Silicon Valley.
connections.
Yeah, because we were all students together. We all was working together. So it's like you graduate with the connections. Then that's why you go to school. You go to school because, like, if I was to come back and I need a job, I can hit up my professors that I did well in, and I could say,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, I see you're over here. You need somebody on y'all team," and I know they might pick me up. You
Yeah.
know. So it's like going to school and getting good grades is nice, but I would honestly say like that's like expected. And if you really want to be successful, you need to be doing a lot more than that. You need to be doing internships, you need to be talking to people, you need to be joining professional organizations. Even while you're in college, I would even say like if there's certain certifications that's well known, even look into studying for those while you're in college. Start working on certs.
Yeah.
Like,
I would say I think that's important, but I also feel like it's important to figure out what you like. So just try things. Just try things, because you knew you liked that because you had experiences before that led you to that decision. Sometimes people don't have those experiences before college that tell them which direction they want to go in their life. So when they get to college, they just pick something, and then they have to switch majors, and then they switch majors again, and then they switch majors again, because they were sold into that idea that this is the way. You know what I
right,
mean?
and that's not good. Yeah, that is not a good way at all. Like
Yeah.
like it's better.
Don't switch
Like,
majors, y'all. Like,
well, I mean, you
just
can
drop
switch
out.
like whatever. No,
It's like,
like
no,
if you're
just
gonna
joking.
switch, that's cool. But I feel like whatever major you're in, like you gotta be a big fish in your major. Like there are
Yeah.
certain people that I know that were like journalism and in media and stuff, but they used to do a lot with the on campus. There's a radio station, and they
Mm-hmm.
would like anchor the station. and they were
Yeah.
constantly on there, like talking to people, interviewing people, like,
But where
you
are those
know,
people at right now?
right. But yeah, because they were hustling, like they was constantly on there and doing their classes, and probably also, the president of some organizations, like
Because the
they was
passion
doing,
was there.
yeah, they was hustling. So it's like, I feel like for me, when I started college, I thought that I could just go to school, get good grades, and that's it. And hey, that's cool, but like that's gonna put you in a position where it's like you're okay, but you're not set. It's
Yeah.
really so many other things that are expected of you once you in college. Like you gotta, it's like whatever your department has, you want to take advantage of whatever opportunity that you can find to like
Hmm.
start building your resume while you're in school. Like you have to do that. If you're not doing that, I don't know what to tell you,
I
because
understand.
that can create problems.
Absolutely. But okay, so would you recommend Morgan to someone else? Would you say that that's the school that you should go to?
Definitely.
Yes. And tell
Yeah,
me why.
don't Morgan does not get a lot of shine amongst other HBCUs, amongst other people,
Mm-hmm.
Morgan is not, people don't hear Morgan State and go, wow. But Morgan is a good school if you are going to work hard. If you're going to work hard and you know what you're trying to do in every single major, I guarantee you'll graduate with a job, you'll graduate with multiple opportunities in your major. If you're
Mm-hmm.
consistently on your work and being positive and you take advantage of every single opportunity that's in front of you, you will graduate very successful, and on a really good path.
So would you say that because it was an HBCU and it was like black connections that helped you?
I would say so. I would say like there was a lot of employers that would come to the school. There was a career path. I mean, there was a career fair every single year. Um, and there were just a lot of opportunities for students. Like my journalism major, we had like a school paper and stuff, and like
Oh.
they would publish on that. We had the radio station. The business majors, they had their new building. I'm not sure exactly like all the ins and outs, but I
Mm-hmm.
know that they had some stuff with like PNC Bank because that was connected with the university. Like nursing is really big too.
Yeah.
And like engineers, yeah, engineers was flourishing, doing a lot there. So it's like everybody had opportunities in their respective field to do what they wanted.
But that's
Um,
good.
and the teachers, a lot of them are really supportive and a lot of them do care. Like and if they saw someone who was like doing a good job, they're gonna pick that student out and say, "Hey, I want to help you," because they see that you're doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not even gonna tell you. They're just gonna recommend you for something. They're gonna be like, "Yeah, I got a job for you this summer." They're just gonna
Oh.
tell you if they see you doing your work, they're gonna tell you that. But the
Oh.
only thing is, if you're playing games, I don't know. But honestly,
So if you aren't doing your thing, they wouldn't have a job for you.
it wouldn't be. It's not that it wouldn't be a job. It would be more difficult to find because you wouldn't have those connections as hard. You wouldn't have those recommendations. But to be honest, at the end of the day, everyone will probably end up still getting something as well because everyone is pretty much going to pass. Everyone's going to get through. There's no one that's sitting there not doing their work. Like,
By the time you get to senior year, yeah, you if you're not gonna finish, what was the point of this whole thing? Like,
yeah, most of the people who wasn't going to do it probably changed majors freshman year, probably changed their mind or
or
whatever.
they dropped out.
Yes.
Yeah. So okay, so basically, you would say that if college is the direction you want to go, you should go that direction. But do you feel like there's more weight to a HBCU over a regular college?
Uh, well, like in my field particularly, they say that like 75% of engineers graduate from HBCUs. Like if you are a black engineer, you have
Mm-hmm.
likely graduated from a HBCU. So some PWIs are graduating engineers, but they're just so much less.
Why is that?
Um, well, in my graduate school experience, I actually did notice like there would be meetings. Like I was in graduate school and I was a part of a lab. And at first, when I first joined, they didn't invite me to meetings for like a few months. So they would let everyone else in the lab come to the meeting, give them information and they would talk and all network, but they just wouldn't invite me to it. But then
Why?
I don't know. But I was the only one. I was like literally like the only woman, like the only black person. It's like, they were like, "Oh, we didn't know you were here." Like, like I wasn't connected.
What?
Now the teachers were nice to me, but the teachers wasn't the ones that held the lab meeting. So the person who held the lab meeting said he just didn't know. So it's like I don't know how it is because I wasn't there, but at a PWI, you probably will feel you're going to be in a bigger class size, so the teachers won't care as much, and you probably will have to do it on your own. You're probably going to have to find a couple of friends, and you guys are going to have to study together until you make it,
Yeah.
because the teachers are not going to be like the teachers don't even teach their classes at these big schools. The TA teaches their classes, and the TA is just a person who wants a PhD. So they don't really care about y'all. Like,
Yeah, they don't. They really don't.
because the teacher's assistant, I was a teacher's assistant too before when I was doing my master's program a little bit. Teacher's assistants, they're tired. They're students too. They've been a student longer than you. They tired. So it's like they're doing their best, but ain't nobody, interview them for this. Like they're just someone who like
They're
has
just
they've been on campus for a long time
they just doing what they gotta do, man. They
to
just
graduate.
they
Right.
trying to finish. That's all.
Exactly.
I
So
understand.
but they're nice people, and a lot of TAs do care. But it's like, this is not their goal. This isn't their dream job. They just trying to do this to finish, and they want you to pass. But they're only gonna do but so much. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Can you tell me 1 second? I have to take my headphone out so I could charge my phone. Tell me if you can still hear me when I take my headphone out.
okay, yes,
Sorry about that. It just I couldn't I was talking to you but you couldn't hear me. So, what were you just saying though?
um, I don't really remember.
I think you were talking about the TAs and how they're just trying to finish up, They're just trying to finish their degree. So
Yes,
they're not taking the teaching the classes as seriously. So the whole big fish a small fish in a big pond thing with going to a PWI, because not only are you like in a predominantly white school, you're also um in a school full of a whole bunch of other people. So that makes
yeah,
sense.
yes. So yeah, that's exactly how I feel. But
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I'm obviously gonna have my perspective because I went through my personal journey. I see the pros and cons differently than someone else would.
Well, it's that was your path, like you can only speak from your path. You were supposed to go to college and go to McDaniel and go to Morgan and go for grad school because that was the path that you wanted.
Yep,
So,
definitely. I
that's
do.
what you was following your heart.
Yeah, I do have a goal in August of 2022. If everything lines up perfectly, I'll be starting a PhD program.
When everything lines up perfectly.
Yes, when it lines up perfectly. And I'm speaking into existence. It's going to take 2 years, 2 to 3 years. I ain't about to spend no 5 years in school. I'm done.
I understand. So why the PhD?
Um, well, I mean, conceptually, I just really feel like it's actually more I still have to learn. And it's more that I'm genuinely interested in learning.
Okay.
So part of it is that, just actually that when I
You
go to
really
conf,
want to go. You like school.
yeah, and like, yeah, like I've done some research projects. I've talked to a lot of other grad students, and looked at the different research they're doing. And I'm just interested in like doing some more research and learning more, and like because at this point you're going really in depth in certain things, and I'm interested in doing that. So it's
Okay.
like, that's part of it. And part of it is I just really do want the PhD. I want the doctor behind my name. Like it's been something I had on my mind and my heart for a while. And so
Oh,
I genuinely do want that, but that's not the only reason,
I
you know,
understand.
but it's part of it. Like it would be a nice life achievement to have that completed.
Absolutely. I mean, that's something that you like I said, that's the path that you want. You that's important to you.
Yeah, because basically I finished my master's in like 2019, and then 2020 was like a break year, like working and everything. That was 2020, and I think 2021. And then in 2022, I'm like going back because, I've had some time off, had some time to work, figure out what I'm trying to do and stuff.
Mhm.
But, I needed also a break year too because I didn't want to go straight through because I wanted to like have more money. I wanted to like get certain things together. Like for me, it's like I want to go to school and finish my PhD. I don't want to just be a full-time student. If I do become, if I do the PhD, I'm only going to be a full-time student for like 1 year. I'm not going to be a full-time student for like all 3 years because I'd rather stretch it out and be able to work than not work and just be a student. Not saying just being a student is bad, but like I don't think that way is gonna work for me.
Okay. That makes sense. I think also you traveled, like you had some time to go places,
Yeah,
right?
because like my thing is like if I was to be a full-time student the whole time, it's like I would have not had a big picture. It's like I wanted to get a big picture of my life and I wanted to get a big picture of what I wanted and why. And that's why I wanted to take a break. Because if I would have just went straight through, it's like you're just focused on like get the PhD, which is great. But like I wanted to fit it into like my entire life. I wanted to be like, why do you want this? Like,
Yeah.
why do you care about this? Like, ask yourself questions and make sure you're doing this for the right reasons. Because
Yeah.
it's a lot of work and it's hard. And honestly, you're gonna encounter it with anything in life. You're gonna encounter challenges every step of the way. So it's like if you're
Absolutely.
doing this, you want to make sure that you know that it's for the right thing. And you don't want to get burned out too, because I was getting burned out. I had
With
been a
school.
broke college, yeah, I had been a broke college student for like 6 years straight. I was already on year six. I was about to do eight. I was about to do two more. Like
Just no, for real, that would be a lot. A lot. You ever watch Girlfriends?
sometimes,
Lynn
no.
on Girlfriends?
I probably like I only watched it like a couple times.
I understand. It's on Netflix. You should watch it. It's really good.
I would look at it.
But what I was gonna say is Lynn is one of the characters on there, and she has like hella master degrees, and she never, like, how you said you stopped because you wanted to get a big picture of your life to make sure that that's the path you wanted to pursue.
Hmm.
So Lynn, she never knew. She never under knew where she wanted to go. She just kept going to school, and she just kept living off of her friends and stuff like that, and just, I'm not saying that's you. That's definitely not you. But I'm just saying the whole like going back to school thing. She just kept going to school because she didn't want to deal with her life.
Oh,
Yeah. But okay. So all right. I want to transition a little bit to other things. Is that okay with you?
yeah, sure.
Um, you talked a little bit. Oh, okay. Before we transition, I want to ask you, just so anybody listening who might be interested in software engineering, is there any like scholarships or special programs that you recommend, or anything that you could recommend for anybody who wants to get into software engineering
Um,
or electrical engineering or just any STEM field?
I would definitely say go online and apply to various different scholarships because there are a lot of scholarships for like Black women in STEM and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even to obtain like certain certifications, there are a lot of scholarships. So don't have a particular program in mind, but I did definitely like when I was a sophomore, I applied to stuff and I was able to get scholarship funding like that. So I applied through institutional aid and then also just private scholarships. But being a Black woman in STEM, like biology, engineering, software, it's definitely a lot of stuff that's out there.
So it's a lot of resources.
Yes.
Okay. Did you get any of the ones that you applied for?
Yeah, like, well, most of the aid I got was through the institution, like institutional aid. But I remember like I got this random, I think I got like this random $1,000 scholarship
Mm-hmm.
that I had gotten a sophomore year on top of the institutional. And so they ended up giving me like, I think I ended up getting like some amount refund. Like
Oh wow.
it wasn't very much, but uh the $1,000 scholarship ended up covering like the tuition fees or something. And then it ended up covering like I got like a few hundred back.
That's
So that
nice.
yeah, that was good because like I got paid a little bit to go to school that one year,
Yeah.
a one-time thing.
You
And I
got paid to go to school? What do you mean?
like instead of me having to come out of pocket to go, like they did, like I got extra money. And it wasn't like a loan paying back. It was just like, oh, this is extra scholarship.
Oh, like a refund. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that refund be hitting, girl. It be like, but then it's not good because I mean, I have issues with spending, but you are, on the other hand, a very good person when it comes to money and saving and stuff like that. So, like, where did that whole thing come from? How did you get good with money?
Yo, I mean, I just think it's because like growing up, like we were good. Like we were never like bad,
Mm-hmm.
but like it's like we always had to be like that. Like it always was just like the amount. Like if I get an amount, like let's say I was going to school, like I had to go get lunch or had to like do something. Like
Mm-hmm.
it would be times where I would be blessed, I would get money, but it would be like this is the amount you have. Like if you mess this up, that's it. Like, you know?
Yeah.
And then in college too, it's like, okay, I always had a job, so it's like, okay, that's good. But if I waste it, that's my check. Like it's no other extra.
Yeah.
So so I mean, I guess it's like necessity to some weird way. But also just because too, like I'm trying to put stuff away so that it's not like this later. Like I'm trying to ball out later. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I just want to get
You're
to a point
preparing
where
for
it's
the
like,
future.
yeah, get to a point where everything's set up, everything's saved, you got this amount, you can see it. And then once that gets to that point, I will not, I'll be allowed to do more.
Yeah.
So I guess it's in some ways like I like to feel secure, you know? And so
Yeah.
I don't wanna spend too much and then feel like I'm not secure, like something's gonna happen, like I'm gonna be on my last dollar, like,
You don't want
I
to be
wanna
in a situation like that. So, like, it's important for you to feel secure and feel like you know where your money's going.
yeah, because I think one day like I talked to you about something, I was talking to you, I was like, I need to be supported. And I think you thought that I meant that they had to like pay for everything or thought that my partner had to pay for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were talking about partners and I was like, oh, I just need him to support me. And it's like, no, it's not even just like it's financial support, but it's like I need to feel safe. Like I need to feel like something is not gonna happen. Like I'm not just next to death or next to like struggle or something.
Oh my
So
goodness, it's crazy you said that. Like, that's so crazy. That's like a crazy way to say it, but I understand exactly what you mean. Like, when you're like connected to someone who they can't show you something, they can't teach you, or they don't have their stuff going on. Like they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Is that what you mean?
yes.
But okay, so that kind of makes sense. But why you say you're not sitting next to death?
Like I don't not I mean, like I don't want to feel like for me it's like if I don't, I mean, money is always going to be a stressful topic
Yeah.
because, it's a very important topic anyways. But
Mhm.
I don't want the way I'm spending it. Like, 'cause sometimes it's going to be things you have to buy, but I don't want to be making it worse by doing frivolous stuff. So I don't know. I guess I just have a lot of anxiety surrounding money. And because of that, I'm just very like, to some degree, some small degree frugal. Cause I don't even see myself as frugal.
What does frugal mean?
Yeah, I feel like I do be spending on stuff. I be buying luxuries. It's just probably less luxurious than the next person.
What's frugal mean?
Like someone that doesn't spend, I
Okay,
guess,
so
or someone that don't spend like on a lot of stuff.
conservative. Like you're
Yeah,
conservative with your money. Okay, that makes
yeah.
sense. So where does that anxiety come around? Like, is it that you're worried about not having enough and you just always have to be on it when it comes to stuff like that, like making sure you always have enough?
Yeah, I definitely think it's that. Definitely.
Okay. That's important to you to always be on top of those things.
Yeah. I mean, there's gonna be times where like that unexpected expense come up that you do have to pay. Like you cannot get around it. Like
Mhm.
obviously, but if I can control it and not add to the issue, definitely.
That makes sense. Okay.
But I do spend money on things that make me comfortable, things that make me happy. I try to like have a budget, stick to it. And I guess for me, it's just like I'm just trying to build a good life for myself. So I'm like very into that. But it was
Oh,
some times like during my, probably early college years where I was chilling, I was having like some fun. But, you know, also because I'm a Capricorn too, and Capricorns are very like known to be very dry and known to be very like
I
logical and stuff.
I don't know about that.
Mm, I don't know. It might not
I
be all
don't know
Capricorn.
about that. I don't think that's accurate, but
Well,
okay.
it might not be every Capricorn though.
Well, that's true. But I'm saying even with you, you're not dry. Why do you always call yourself dry?
Not dry, but like I mean dry is in someone that has a certain like older person mindset, like a very serious mindset in some ways, or like a
Okay.
very old soul. Like I feel like Capricorns might be like old soul, and I identify with that. Like even though I'm a young person, I have like an older person's mindset, like an older person's view on a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In some ways, like in terms of like family, in terms of like putting something away for later and stuff like that.
That makes sense. But where does that come from? Is what I'm trying to get at. Like where, because I understand the whole not wanting to have enough, but like the planning for the future thing, is that something that like your mom was like important to her, or like where did that come from?
Mm, no, I mean I would say yes to some degree, but I would say like I don't know. I guess I just never wanted like things were always nice growing up. Like things were great. Like we had enough to like survive and do what we needed to. But
Mm-hmm.
I never just wanted to like I wanted things to be easier, for me. And I guess that's why I'm like how I am. 'Cause I I don't want, I don't want to be like, you know, I don't want things to be unnecessarily difficult.
Yeah.
I'm trying to set stuff up and make stuff as smooth as possible.
You're trying to set up your future so that, you're secure. You want to feel safe and secure. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay.
I'm not sure where it comes from though, because I definitely have an interest in it. Like I was reading like this Rich Dad Poor Dad book,
Oh,
which
you
is
started
probably
reading
yeah, it's probably one of the first like when people get into money, like everybody pretty much like gets into that.
it?
So I
Yeah.
was reading that and I'm starting to like I hear a lot of people talking about the investments. I am kind of weary of a lot of them.
Yeah, me too.
'Cause I'll be researching like before I'm about to put my money in something, that joint gotta be like Fort Knox, like it gotta be legit. So I'm like, I'm not sure. If I hear anything, I'm like, nah. But I did put money into like a small amount into cryptocurrency, put a small amount into that. But
The
I've been
NFT.
researching. Yeah, I researched cryptocurrency and Bitcoin like 5 years ago before it was even that expensive. I already knew what Bitcoin was. So I have like a little bit of money in Bitcoin. I'm not gonna take it out. I'm not gonna take my money out of Bitcoin. I'm not gonna put more money in. I'm just gonna leave that amount in there because it's like
Hmm.
growing. Bitcoin's growing a lot,
Wow.
and no, it's not. It's not that much because like I had put like $50 in Bitcoin like 3 years ago when I was in school because a lot of my friends knew about it. So I
Hmm.
have whatever that $50 is now.
Okay. I
So
understand.
because I didn't have that much like 3 years ago, so I was like, all right, let's just do that.
I understand. That makes sense.
But other than that, I'm just like trying to learn about investing, like trying to figure out what the best way of savings is, like learning about these different accounts and you know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. That makes complete sense. And once you finish Rich Dad Poor Dad, I would encourage you to check out Cash Flow Quadrant because that talks more about the investing. Rich Dad Poor Dad is kind of like more so just telling you how it works, like telling you how things are, like understanding the way this world works money wise. And then the next level would be understanding how to invest your money. And part of investing really is recognizing opportunities, recognizing what is the difference. Well, they talk about that in Rich Dad and Poor Dad, what the difference is between an asset and a liability. That's very important. But it's also important to understand return and understand, like, okay, like you said, do your research before you jump in, like make sure you really fill it out before you take that dive. It has to feel right. But honestly, I feel like real estate is the best investment you can make because it holds its weight. Like real estate, prices of houses have only been going up. So I feel like that's a good way to invest your money as well, even into your own home, you
Yeah,
know.
I'm definitely down for that. Yep.
So let's switch gears a little bit. Well, I want to talk about the investing thing a little bit just because, like, what kind of what questions do you have?
I mean, it's like a topic where like I don't know that much about it. I know I have some friends that were doing something with like the currency of other markets and like exchanging currency.
Forex.
Yeah, they doing that. A lot of my friends are into that. And
Okay,
I
let me
haven't
give
hopped
you
in.
let me give you the game on forex. Okay.
They probably make money from getting more people into it.
Yeah, it's the marketing thing. It's the network marketing, but it's also like residual income from what I understand with the network marketing. So that's the part where like you can make a lot of money, but it's you're buying people like with forex is like the people who be selling forex to other people, they be trying to get them to come in. Those people ain't even doing forex. Like they really not. They're listening to what somebody else says on, oh, make sure you it's an option here and you do this and you click that and you copy and paste, and like they don't really know it. Like it's just it's a mess. But what was the other things that you've done?
I've heard of people say that, but I didn't get into that because I was like, I don't know.
It don't feel
Like
right.
I just feel like I didn't know enough about it to put like I don't know nothing about other nations' currencies in order to know how to trade them effectively.
I
So I was
understand.
like, okay. And then the other one they were talking about something with like people helping people. And it's like you're supposed to invest this money into like this life insurance stuff.
Yeah, I heard about
And
that.
then once you invest in it, you're supposed to be able to borrow against it. But my thing is, you're putting money into it. Like I might put 10K into it, but I can only take out five. So your other five is just sitting in life insurance that you're never going to touch until you pass away. Yeah, you have access to that 5K, but if you would have just put all 10K in a savings account, you're not going to earn as much of that interest rate, but you can touch all 10 when you want it.
So
Or
I want
you
to
can put it or you can put it in a Roth account and still get all 10 and you can still get a higher rate of return than a savings account. So I was like, why use life insurance when I can just use a Roth or something?
okay,
If
so
it's
let
gonna
me
be my money, go ahead.
I was just gonna say with the whole the life insurance thing that you was talking about. So with that, you're right. With some types of life insurance, you can't take out all the money, and I agree that kind of makes sense with the whole like okay, you don't get to take out the full amount, but the thing about the life insurance thing is that that is a way to protect your wealth, to pass on what you, or just to make sure the people around you who are connected to you are good regardless of what happens to you,
Yes, but
like.
you dead at that point.
But no, because here's the thing. Okay, say you got a kid. Okay, say you got a kid. You say you decided to adopt a kid and he's living in the house with you, and God forbid something happens to you. When God forbid, when someone passes away, they leave a very heavy burden on the people around them. Like just the
Yes,
cost of a funeral
right, but
and
why?
that,
But that,
hold on. Not even just that. If you have a household with a mortgage, how is the mortgage going to get paid now if you're the only one living there? How is that person, whoever you leave behind, or even your family, like, or even something like this, god forbid, say someone is, they live on their own and they have a parent and they pass away. What happens is they can now go after your, like, if you have debt creditors who are coming after you because you owe them money, they can now go after your family members and try to get the money from them, you know.
yeah, I totally get that.
So I think with the life insurance thing, I agree as far as like it's not as flexible with like putting your money in and getting your money out. You do have some plans where you can take money out and you pay it back and it's like no interest, and they call it basically being your own bank. It's being your own bank. So like when you take the money out and you put the money back in, basically with the insurance, I don't know everything about it, but from what I understand, with the life insurance, the money that's in there, you can invest it in certain corporations too. So like I feel like there's a lot of different ways that you can go with the life insurance. I don't want to speak too much on it just because it's not my area of expertise, but you did say something about a Roth IRA. So for the people who don't know, what is a Roth IRA?
I'm not a person like as I'm not as 100% sure about that either. I'm starting to learn,
It's
but
okay.
some people think it's a good alternative to a 401k. But Roth IRAs, basically you put money into it, and then the money you put into it will get a percent gain,
Mhm.
um, some small percentage gain, and then you will be able to take that money out. You can take the money out, I think, no penalty.
Okay. Um
Well, that is the main. That's I think though that's basically what I know about it. And the reason why that's different than a 401k is because most 401ks you might get a little bit of a higher percent gain, and
mhm.
you might get a company match. But if you try to take the money out, you will pay like 20% penalty, unless you're like buying a house or unless it's like a bunch of pro pros. But pretty much you cannot get money out of a 401k.
So
So a lot of people opt for the Roth because you can take the money out easier. Um, and it's like it's more flexible. And
so
a lot of people are concerned because of at times when the stock market gets bad, a lot of people lose money in their 401ks because depending on how they're investing it, you actually might get a negative. You won't get a percent gain. You actually start losing a percentage depending on the economy.
yeah. So I think that brings up a very important point. Um like you are doing right now, you're looking into investing on your own and you're learning how to do it and learning what accounts to get and what life insurance is. You're learning about all this stuff, and I think it's so important that you continue on that path to learn how to invest your money, because um what you were saying about how people lose their money, the thing about the stock market and the thing about putting your money in the 401k or whatever, you're giving it to someone else to invest and you're letting them kind of with it, not realizing that that person's a human being just like you are. Like, yeah, their job is to handle your money, but doesn't mean they necessarily know how to handle money or know how to invest. Like, they're a regular person just like you. They're not an investor.
Yeah, a lot of people. I have talked to various friends who are against the 401k. I
Mhm.
mean, and I've talked to a guy who actually was telling me, he was like, "Oh, pull your money out your 401k." Me personally, I was advised by a lot of older people in my family to always put it in there. And because for me, for every dollar I put in, my company puts in a dollar. So I get a dollar per dollar company match. So it's like, I'm going to do it because every dollar I get, I'm getting two. So even if they lose some of my money, it's really the company's money. They're not
So
going to lose mine.
Absolutely. And
So for me, it works, but for a lot of people, if you don't have a company match, or if you there's like different options, but if you hit that aggressive thing where it's like you'll get a higher percentage gain, but you but you have more risk. If you're doing that, that probably isn't smart. Me, I'm on the most conservative possible. Don't lose nothing, don't gain nothing. Just keep it in there.
until you figured it out, right?
Yeah, until I know what I'm trying to do.
I understand. That makes sense. What I was gonna say is one resource I could recommend to you is something called I believe it's called the Automatic Millionaire. And it's like you can listen to an audiobook. There's a book, it's a physical book, and you can listen to the audiobook. It's kind of like a program, I guess you could say. But they really talk about how, even if you work a 9 to 5, how you can set up your 401k so that like they talk about that, investing in 401ks. But that's not the only way to do it. And there's no one way to do it. So I would encourage you to get multiple perspectives from all different realms. Like, learn, like really take that time, like don't feel rushed.
Yeah, I definitely will look into some audiobooks because I'm so young and I'm putting money in here now, it's like I know in 5 years it's just gonna be better and better, you know? Like 5 years, 10 years, things will just be I'll be in a better position. So it's like I definitely want to learn more about that. And I want to do some more stuff in addition to just that. Like,
Like you want to diversify.
yeah, definitely. I'm definitely looking. So for me, it's like I'm looking to diversify, have a second, like have some type of investment thing that I'm doing. And then
Hmm.
I'm also looking to have, like, I'm looking at side hustles. I'm looking at teaching, doing like teaching a college class and being
Okay.
like an adjunct faculty. So then I'll have like my job from adjunct faculty and I'll have my regular job.
Okay.
I'm looking into being a tutor possibly, so then I can get paid like, 20 something, or even 30 something an hour just to help someone, like, for a few weeks.
Hell yeah.
I'm
Hell,
even looking into relationship coaching, even though I don't think I'm qualified, but I'm thinking about it.
so you want more flexibility.
Yeah, so it's like I'm
So
about to have another job and my regular one.
ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You're figuring it out.
Yeah, like,
That's all that matters. It's okay. And what I was gonna say, school, if you're gonna go teach at a school, girl, you might as well go teach online. I don't know why you going to that school. I
oh
mean,
no, yeah. All the classes are virtual, but yeah, I'll be teaching virtually through Zoom and everything. But
I'm
I'll be
I'm
doing all the grading and all of that.
okay, so that's fine. I'm saying that you don't have to teach at a school. You could teach online. Like you could teach online. Like what is it that you want to teach?
Um, Looking into some math classes. I'm looking into some cyber classes.
Okay. I'm just saying that whatever it is that's your thing, whatever it is that thing is, like you'd be surprised. There's people on Udemy teaching people how to do software engineering, teaching people how to do coding, teaching like creating their own course and teaching someone something course and they're making hella bank off of it passively.
Yep,
Passive. So that's what I was trying to get you to understand, like get you to start thinking about passive versus active income. Because active means you have to go and be there to make the money. Passive means you do the hard work up front. You do the major investment up front. Either that's you're investing your money, you're investing your time, or your energy, whatever it is. You do the and then all you have to do from that point is put it on a platform that either markets it for you or you just actively market it.
that's good. Yeah, I'm definitely looking into that. I mean,
It's called e-course creation. E-course creation, just think about it, okay? Cuz you have a lot of knowledge and I'm sure you could teach somebody some stuff. Like I'm sure there's something that you could really teach people, and you can impact a lot of people with it. That's what I'm saying too with the e-course. The cool thing about it is that you're reaching not just the people in your close proximity, you're reaching people from all over the world who want to learn the skill that you have to offer.
okay.
So just think about it. Just think about it. But I feel like we haven't even touched on anything to do with spirituality or anything like that. Like, I'm sorry for taking so much of your time, Sid. Like, I'm sorry for taking
Mhm.
get started. How much more time do you think you can like I don't want to
Oh
infringe.
yeah, I just yeah, I looked at the clock. I see it's midnight.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
I'll
midnight.
probably talk like 10, 15 minutes.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, how about this? Can you tell me some advice that you would give to somebody from where you're at right now, things you learned in life? What advice would you give to someone who is interested in pursuing the field that you're in?
I would tell them to believe in themselves. Like I know that sounds very cliche, but you know, if you really have that like like if you have that self-sufficiency and you have that um like you just trust in yourself, you'll be able to overcome a lot of the difficulties. So I would say that. Um, and then I would also say, there might be some hard moments like throughout your journey when it comes to, you know, engineering, STEM and different things, but embrace those difficult moments and learn from them. Like sit in that moment, think about what happened, learn from it, and then move on instead of just like avoiding it, acting like it didn't happen because it's a part of your journey, like the goods, the highs, the lows, all of it. So, you know, don't be afraid of it. Don't recoil at the sight of struggle or at the sight of something being difficult. Just sit in that moment, learn, and then go to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Before you know it, you done. You good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's some great advice right there. And that could be applied to anybody. All right. So before we close out, I want to ask you one other thing. I'm gonna ask you two things, okay? So the first thing is when it comes to spirituality and religion, do you ever feel conflicting feelings?
Um, Me personally, I don't, but I know for a lot of people they are very different. But it's like for me, spirituality is like it's like part of it is prayer, like if I want to pray, but then part of it can just like me meditating on something, or it could be like me journaling on a topic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I used to do devotionals a lot. I really don't do them as much anymore, but I used to do devotionals where you read a certain Bible passage, and then that Bible passage is on a certain topic, and then you also might just sit and think about that topic. Then you just journal on what it says. You might journal on how you feel, you know.
Mm-hmm. Why
So,
why did you stop doing that?
I mean, I just haven't had the time to sit with the passages and give it the time it really requires.
Mm-hmm.
But I still do like to just journal like on stuff without it being like a set devotional. I'll just journal because I want to journal. Or
Yeah,
I'll just like, meditate just to meditate. But I don't call it a devotional because it doesn't have that like I'm not reading a Bible passage piece.
I understand. It's still a
But
spiritual practice though.
right, and I'm still gonna like I still might pray and like, take some time, you know, talk to God about how I'm feeling or even talk to check in with myself. Like how am I feeling? Another big thing about spirituality that I take into account is like gratitude. So I take time and I try to like thank God for things or, look at what's good in my life and take some time to really like sit and think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I write down things I'm grateful for like every so often.
Absolutely. That makes
So
complete.
I think it's important to take that spiritual time and like take that time to check in with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you know, very, very often. And that'll help you to have a more fulfilled life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because without God, we can feel lost. Like without that connection or without feeling like you're connected even with yourself. Like I know sometimes for me, like before, I didn't know about I mean, I knew about meditating, but I didn't take it seriously. Like I wasn't even thinking that, oh, that's something that you should be doing. Like I truly, honestly feel like meditation is something that everybody should be doing. And that's not me trying to push it on people or make it seem like it's like you can't be spiritual without meditating. I just think that it's important to calm your mind.
Yeah, I agree. Because I used to think meditation just meant like sitting still and just saying and all this, but it's like it is like that, but like you could sit still and just think about like you could just think about how you're feeling, or you could think about what's important to you, or you could do an affirmation. Like you could just meditate, or you could just meditate and think about what you want in life. Like you could just, it don't have to just be like you sitting there like with no type of like
You can
nothing.
meditate on an idea or meditate on a thought. You can like I'll be like affirming certain things to myself like okay, so like if even before this interview, I took a couple minutes to meditate because I felt myself being so scattered. I was just like all over the place with my head and just so many things that are on my mind. And I feel like if you don't take the time to calm your mind, you're just going to keep being like that. Like you're just going to keep being all over the place and like not really understanding yourself or understanding why you're doing the things that you're doing or understanding you're not going to understand a lot. Like you're just moving.
I like that.
Like I feel like it takes time to self-reflect because I'm sure you've had times, I know I've had times where it's been like, "Oh, I did that." Like, why did I do that? But instead of living in regret, just reflect on it, accept it, acknowledge it, whatever it is, and move forward. Just move forward. I heard some guy, he was speaking, he was telling me, not telling me, I always say this, but like when I be watching interviews, I be feeling like they're talking directly to me. Like I'm taking it as like I'm having a conversation. I'm listening to someone talk to me, like but he was just saying like he was talking about calm your mind. He was saying that I just lost it. Never mind. Never mind. It's gone. But uh
It's okay.
I'm so mad because it was something good too. What did
He
I
said that it had something to do with you accepting it, letting it go,
and move?
and moving forward.
Okay, that's what he said. He was like, okay, depression is caused by you're not you're stuck in what happened. You're stuck in the past. You're looking back too far. Depression is caused by continuing to look back. Anxiety is caused by looking too far forward. He was saying
Hmm.
he was saying the best thing you can do is just do the best you can today. Do the best you can today. Whatever that is. Like it could be like, oh, maybe you're working on a project. Do your best at that project today. Don't worry about what's going to happen 2 weeks from now. Focus on today and win today and just every day, win each day and live in the moment. Because I feel like a lot of us forget to live. We're just moving, move, 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 move. Like you just, oh, I did this. I have to go do that. I have to go do that. Like a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. Like just focus on the now. Stop being so focused on what might happen or what could happen or what did happen. Focus on the now. And like you said, be grateful for what you have.
Yeah, like honestly, focusing on gratitude was a big thing that really changed things for me. Like, cause it's times where like it's just the most random things. All right, I'm grateful for like I'm
Yeah.
grateful for like the way my smoothie came out today. Like it's just something random. But like
Yeah.
it's good. Like just sitting there and thinking about it, like you have so much stuff to be grateful for. It's easier than to look outside of yourself and, give to someone else, or, you know, see someone else's point of view when you coming from that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you because I do have like anxiety a lot where it's like I'm always thinking like, what if this happened? What if that happened? And like, it could be like very just stressful, like thinking about all this random stuff. And that you do lose focus on the now. And it's like you so anxious about what's about to happen later that
Yeah.
you can't even enjoy what you have now.
Or what you have right in front of you. Like, enjoy
Right.
the moment. Whatever the moment is. Like, it could be you're spending time with your significant other. It could be you're spending time with your parents. Like, instead of stressing about what might happen in the future, just live in the now and be happy for what's going on in the now, because we're always moving forward. I feel like it's important that we're always moving forward, but we always do progress forward because we can always remember a time that we didn't have what we have now.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
that's a reason to be grateful. That's like
True.
that's a reason to appreciate the now, because what you have now is not what you used to have then.
Yep.
So I agree. I think, man, I kind of want to expand on this spiritual part, but we can like do a part two maybe to the episode if you like.
Yeah,
But
we should. We definitely should because
you got to go to sleep. I know.
no, yeah, but no, but also it's like I'm very interested in talking about that too. So like,
Yeah, because we could
and it's
even, yeah, we could plan it out, like have some topics that we want to touch on and stuff like that. So I want to continue that side of the conversation, but being that it is getting late, I want to ask you my last question. So my last question to you is, I want you to affirm in this moment, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
that's a good question. I see myself mentally, spiritually, in a good place and whole
Mm-hmm.
and confident, like, because at in 5 years I'll probably be like 29, close to 30. So I see myself in a very like stable place where I've just accepted myself physically, mentally, and in all aspects of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and by the age of that age, I really just want to I see myself still going for things, but I also just see myself really like resting, really vacationing, just really taking my time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I see myself cooking some really cool meals, eating really good food.
It seems like you're happy 5 years from now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely just very happy, just very like, because when I talk about that self-acceptance piece, like it's always a journey.
Mm-hmm.
But, at that point, I just want to be like just happy in my space, happy in my own space, like even doing some solo traveling, like not just completely being unafraid to just explore the world, go places, like things like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then
And
also
you
just
will.
also taking time for my art, taking time to just, create my paintings and do things like that.
Oh. Are you taking the time now?
Yeah, I mean, I am, but I definitely would like to take more time for them. Because painting and creating stuff take a long time, like getting
It
it a
does.
certain way, restarting and all of it.
Yeah. But I like the vision that you see, and I'm happy for you then, now.
Thank you. Yeah,
So,
that's a good question. I mean, that's a really good question because if you would have asked me that 5 years ago, I would have came at you with like a lot. Like I knew. But at this point, it's like I've kind of achieved so many things on my 5 year list that
mhm.
now I'm just like, I'm good. I'm kind of figuring it out right now, like what I'm trying to do. I'm just like,
You're still finding yourself. It's
yeah, I'm
okay.
still figuring it out. Like,
It's okay. We all are. We
yeah, I
all
feel like
are.
because my thing is 5 years ago, I feel like I did a lot between then and now. So it's like I'm not. I just want to like. I'm really big on right now, just like doing my interest and like rediscovering my interest, like
Mhm.
just taking time to chill, go hiking, take picnics. I'm just trying to chill.
Just do the stuff that you like to do. Like, see,
Yeah,
find yourself, figure out what it is that you like to do. I agree completely, cuz Um, I feel like that whole like traveling by yourself thing, that's something that people try to push. Like they try to be like, oh, you shouldn't do that. You got to be careful. You don't want to,
Yeah, I
like
had
a
so
lot of
many.
fear around stuff like that.
Yeah, so many family is telling me not to, but like I know it's for me. Like,
Exactly. Like literally, oh my gosh. Okay, so I want to tell you this because this is something I low key manifested. Literally I wrote down on a list like all these things that I wanted to do last year. All these things. I wrote one of the things I wrote on there was like the specific places I wanted to travel to. And I wrote in the list, okay, I was like, I want to travel to Atlanta. I want to travel to Florida. I want to travel to Denver, Colorado. I want to travel to California and I want to travel to London. That's something, those places were very important to me, right? So since I started the spiritual journey, I've been coming across to so many different people, like so many people, and be that online or in person. This girl, she got into my lift and, we was listening to music bumping or whatever. Somehow, some way, we start talking about alignment and manifestation and angel numbers and stuff like that. And she's telling me how she's about to catch a flight to Colorado. I'm like, oh wow, that's really cool. Colorado, all the legalization. She was like, I was like, I don't know if that matters to you or not. She was like, of course it matters. Like she was just so hyped that I smoked too. Like we was just like bonding or whatever. And then next thing you know, she's just like, yeah, so if you ever want to come to Colorado, I'll have you can come in my best guest bedroom and I'll have some J's rolled up for you, lined up on the side table. And
girl,
I'm like, are you being serious? And she's like, yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. She really filled my vibe and everything. And she was just really, it was a white girl too, but she was really cool. And she's like well traveled and she lives in two places. She lives in Denver and she lives in Florida. She has two houses and she travels all the time for her job. Like that's her life. And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool." And then so next thing you know, she asked me that and I texted her. She's like, "We're confirming dates now, but she followed me on Instagram and she's like all with the brand and everything. And come to find out, she has do you believe in angel numbers?
I don't know what they are.
Okay, so angel numbers are signs from your angelic guides. So like everybody has spiritual guides. Those are people who passed on. Maybe they're in your family, maybe not, but they're just people who help you from the other side. So they send you messages through angel numbers, which are like usually triple digits, like 444, 555, 111, or quadruple digits, or like that's the whole thing. I don't know if you believe in it, it's okay if you don't, but basically what I'm trying to say is that she's an influencer. She has like 100,000 subscribers on, I mean 100,000 followers, and she's traveling, living her life. Like just me seeing that, now it's like I can't unsee it. I can't unsee the fact that, oh, you can live life and you can live in multiple places. You don't have to be confined to just one place. Cuz that's always been something for me that I don't want to feel trapped. Like I feel like my soul needs to travel. I need to see more, you know?
That's really good.
Yeah. And the thing is that I spoke it. I spoke that I wanted to go to Denver, Colorado. Here's a specific way to go to Denver, Colorado where I don't have to spend that much money. Like that was one thing for me. And then on top of that, next thing you know, I get a friend on Instagram. Like this girl, she starts responding to my post and my thing. She like we just start having a conversation randomly, and she sends me a voice message. And her voice, she has a British accent, a British accent. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, are you from England?" She's like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm from England." And then so next thing you know, we're having this day-long conversation about spirituality and about all this stuff. Like she's a healer and a medium. So that's her thing, but it was really cool just having that conversation and hearing a different perspective that I never heard before. But also, next thing you know, she comes on my podcast. We filmed the episode. We're having a great conversation. And I'm not going to lie, like, I feel the vibes and I feel like she would be welcome to me coming to visit her in London. So that's like, okay, that's a friend in London I can go visit. That's a reason to go. You know, like I'm just saying that it's crazy that I wrote those things down and I spoke those things. And then next thing you know, I see those things start to fall into line.
Yep. I really am glad that those people were placed into your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So like I'm literally I'm about to start I'm going to North Carolina next week. I don't know where I'm going after that, but I just know that it's time to move. You know, it's time to move about and it's time to go on this journey for real instead of just talking about it.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like I have a lot of stuff planned for this summer because I really like being outside a lot. And like
Yeah.
if you notice my Instagram, I take a lot of outdoor photos, a lot of like botanical garden photos and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm really one with like trying to do more with nature. And then when I am drawing my sketches, doing my artwork of outdoor sceneries.
Oh, that's
So
good.
I'm trying to really be into that when it gets warm outside.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So I see myself just moving about the like being about the US, and I have my passport now, so now I can go outside the US.
Me too. Me too.
I just got the passport this year.
That's good. That's good. Cause that's a major determinant. Cause waiting for that thing can be the reason why you don't go. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, so I'm glad you got that. Cause I was glad when I got mine. I was just like, yes, okay. So now it's like no reason why I can't book a ticket if I have the money. You know, like
Yeah.
if it's like, oh, TT's like, hey, you want to come over? You want to come down, come spend some time with my family? Like, she's really cool. Like, we're gonna be best friends. I'm telling you this now because she's even willing to do a video with me of us practicing each other's accents. Like me
Oh.
practicing a British accent and her practicing an American accent, and we like make a video out of that and post it, you know, like just for fun, you know, like because that's what I
Oh.
like to do. I like to be myself, you know, and share it with the world.
We should do a hair. Me and you should do like a hair and makeup video because you're
Oh,
really good at hair. You can help me with my hair.
hell yeah.
And
We definitely could.
and then,
And
I'm super into like makeup, eyeshadow, all of that stuff.
you could do my makeup. You could do my makeup.
Yeah.
That would be a
It'll be so fun.
yeah, that would be fun. And here's the thing. That's what I like. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I don't like the same all the time. I want to do different things. So like that's one thing I appreciate about influencing is that like I'm constantly doing different things. I'm constantly just trying different things and I feel like having the time to do it, it's the time to live. Like the time to live is now. It's not tomorrow, it's not the day after, it's now, you know? So if you want to do something, you need to figure out how to do it and go do it.
Yeah, true.
That was random. But yeah. Um but yeah, like alignment is so we're gonna get into that in another conversation. Like we definitely gotta do a follow-up. We could even do something where we talk with multiple people because
Yeah, you should, because I feel like I have a lot to learn from some of the like from the lady you mentioned and how she's like a medium and stuff. Like I probably have stuff that she could show me that I've never heard about,
I'll
you
send
know?
her Instagram because you can go check out her Instagram. She posts stuff all the time, teaching you about messages and like teaching you what basically she is. I don't know if you believe in that stuff, but basically she's a medium. She's a medium. So spirits communicate to her and she communicates those messages to us. So that's her role.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's something where it's like, no, I haven't. I'm not educated on that topic.
Mhm.
And, sometimes if I grew up in a more closed-minded group where it's like, if I was to hear that stuff, it was bad, you know?
I understand.
But if I hear it from someone from themselves and I'm offering them the opportunity to explain it,
Yeah,
you
it's
know, it sounds like it's something, maybe I can learn like, okay, this is what it is. Okay, this is what they're doing.
yeah,
Like it might be cool just to know, like
it's
just to not to have this like single view. You got to get your knowledge from multiple places and
exactly.
then draw a conclusion.
Yeah. Like we can't just think the same things everybody else does. You have to go form your own perspective by going out and getting the information to figure it out, you know? Figure out
Yep.
how you feel about it. I agree cuz that's how I felt about the whole medium thing. I still am a little cuz like I was about to have something scheduled with her, but I had just had a tarot reading before her. Have you ever had a tarot reading?
No, but I do know what the cards are
You know
and
what
all
they
of it. No,
like?
no, no, no. I did. I got read by a medium, and that medium, everything they said was right.
Yeah,
That
they
joint was crazy. Like they said, oh, you're with your boyfriend, and she looked right at him. She's like, that's not gonna work. I was like, damn. But that shit didn't work. She was like, that relationship not gonna work. She
yeah.
like God. She's like what she says like she said there's gonna be a new job for you. The new job happened.
Mhm.
She says you're gonna make a big purchase soon. It happened. She was
Mhm.
like, your career is gonna continue to do well. I was like, okay.
This was
She
before
said,
you purchased your home.
yep, before I purchased the
Yeah,
house, before I started
literally
the
the
job.
same
She
thing.
looked right at the relationship. She said, she's like, this is gonna end in less than a year. I was like, really? And I was like, oh, and that's when I stopped listening to her. I'm like, oh, she's wrong. She don't know what she's talking about.
I
But
know, right?
that joint ended.
But
And then,
there are some fake tarot readers though, and fake psychics out there. Like I'm
yeah,
not
but
gonna lie.
her stuff, like everything she said was like real. Like she said I was gonna have 5 kids. I was like, okay. And then she's like, the man you're gonna meet, she described him, and I was like, that's my type, so cool. But she
You
didn't say I
bought.
was gonna marry him. She said that's who you're gonna meet soon. I was like, okay. So I mean, it was random, but it ended up being true. And
Yeah,
like also, he wasn't even like my boy. Like the boyfriend I was with wasn't even around. And she was like, "Yeah, are you in a relationship?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "It's not gonna work." And I was like, "Damn." But she didn't say it like that. Like she was saying other stuff too. But
not like it hit home, and it was.
yeah,
That's the thing is that the people who are really connected, and that's why. Okay, so I gotta tell you about this because I have to spread the word. If you do see an angel number, okay, like right now, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. You see it?
in my head?
Look at the time.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
So 1, 2, 3, 4 is a angel number. Basically, that means something.
okay,
So I just want you to know that when you do see numbers line up, so say you see a 111, 3 ones in a row. If you notice that, and then you notice it again, and then you notice it again, that means that somebody's trying to communicate something to you. They're trying to tell you something, and you need to hear the message. So, what that means is that when you see angel number 111 or you see angel number 22, hey, for some reason it just disconnected us. That wasn't me. I'm sorry about that.
okay. Yeah, I was confused what happened too.
Yeah, that was so annoying. But okay, so when you see the numbers line up, so you see that 444, you see a 666, you see even 666, they all mean something and it's an angelic message. Okay?
Okay,
So, so that means that you need to listen.
okay,
So I would encourage you to, if you do see an angel number, you need to go to YouTube and look up that angel number and listen to Minx Diva. Minx Diva, she is an angelic guide and she knows what the hell she's talking about. So I'm gonna send you a video just because it's a video that applies to everybody, but I feel like it especially applies to you because you're talking about you want to do service. You want to help other people learn about your field and learn how to get in, like learn information about it and learn how to do those things. So that's service. It's you're being of service to this world. You're helping somebody else,
oh,
so that's who Mix Diva speaks to. She talks to the people who want to help.
good. I like that.
So
I can definitely get with that.
yeah. And I'm telling you, if you see a number line up, pay attention
Okay,
and receive the message, okay?
okay.
But I'm not going to keep you too much longer. It's about to be 1 a.m. I'm so sorry for keeping you up. But I really, really, really appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation with me, Sid. Like, just you being willing to. I appreciate you coming on.
Oh, and I really appreciate it. I think you did an awesome job giving me the interview. I felt
Thank,
very comfortable. I felt very free to say what I wanted to, but I also feel like you led the conversation really well, and
thank you.
I enjoyed myself, you know?
That's good. We're gonna have more of these. Absolutely. And I feel like this one was mostly about software engineering, so we could have a follow up where we talk about spirituality. So we can
Yeah,
that.
definitely. I think I
I
can
feel like
gain so
that
much
would
from
be
it.
a more. I'm not saying it's not the software engineering is interesting, but I'm just saying that spirituality is more on a different side of interest as far as like being of service to this world and stuff like that. Like or just like knowing how to be okay with yourself and like self-love and we can just talk about all that stuff. So I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, and
Um
I think in that conversation, I'll probably spend a lot more time listening too.
yeah,
Yeah.
if we can talk for real. Have you checked out my podcast yet?
I have listened. I did see your podcast page on Spotify, I believe,
Okay.
but I have not listened to. I only listened to like one of them
Well,
because
she's I
each of.
interviewed her on my first episode. So I'm saying that, you know, the
Mhm.
reason why I interviewed her is because she is a YouTuber. Like I found her off of YouTube and she has like hundreds like she was willing to do an interview with me. You know, like
Oh, so cute.
so I really appreciated that because she is an angelic guide. Like I'm not joking when I say that. Like she is a powerful woman and you can see it because I'm gonna just send you the video and you're gonna feel the vibe and you're gonna know what I'm talking about. But
Yeah, I listened
she's
to the
connected.
podcast that you
It's like
have about the business owner. I
so
li I
I
listened to
have a
that
couple
one.
of episodes. I have a couple of things that I'll just send you my link and then it'll have all the links listed on there and you could just figure out what you want to listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause especially Mink Steve, I'm gonna send you my link, but I'm also send you a link to her video about this year, what this year actually means and what it means to the people who want to be of service.
Oh,
Okay.
cute. Okay.
So yeah, but I appreciate you, Sid, for really coming on. Like I really do, and I know that somebody out there right now listening to my voice is gonna appreciate the fact that you were so honest about your experience and how to get into that field and everything. Like that's valuable information. So thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome, and have a good night.
You too. Be safe. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.